Cool. Looks like we're live now. What's up, everybody? Thank you all for joining us tonight for episode number 80 of the Tattoo Collecting Podcast hosted by Fawn Baker and Jordan Ruckus. Tattooers and collectors, this show is a great place for you to talk about and to experienced artists and clients about the ins and outs of the tattoo world. We're beaming out to several different places, so if you're watching, tag a friend in the chat or share where you're watching from. Positive reviews and comments are always welcome. All of these Reinventing Network shows, art jams, drawing groups, interviews, panels, and webinars can be watched anytime at reinventing247.com, as well as our new Roku channel, which is pretty cool. It's new, and to find it, search for Reinventing the Tattoo on your Roku device for 24/7 streaming content. We also have several weekly shows and drawing groups that you guys are welcome to tune into or even hop on the call with us. You can set reminders for our upcoming events on our YouTube channel. Otherwise, catch us live on Sundays at 1 p.m. with Jason Leeser. This is the type of show where you guys can bring something you're working on, or if you have questions, you can get in, good feedback and a judgment-free atmosphere. Monday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern is the Tattoo Weekly, hosted by myself, Gabe Ripley of Tattoo Now, and Jake Meeks of the Fireside Tattoo Network. Also, Monday evenings at 9 p.m. is the Evening Evolution class, led by the legendary Guy Aitchison. The first trimester is underway, where all of the students that are involved go through a 48-week course from beginning to end of the Reinventing the Tattoo curriculum. If you guys want to find out more about that, go to classrooms.reinventingthetattoo.com, or you can check out the new learning platform and what's changed. Also, Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. is Ricardo Sturdivant's drawing group. Wednesdays at noon is the Tattoo Now show, followed by this really cool RIT business course at 1 p.m. Thursdays at 12 or 6 p.m. is a tattoo collecting podcast. And beyond all of these awesome digital stuff, we have several real world events that are coming up. As all of you know, Hell City, Columbus in May, the Indianapolis Tattoo Expo, Ink Mania in June, River City Tattoo Invitational at the end of July, and Hell City in Phoenix. Now, all of these events will have reinventing tracks, we'll have live, different types of stuff going on. So make sure you check out the website for updates on where we'll be. Before we kick off the show, as always, we'd like to shout out to our sponsors. Thanks to Alex and his crew at World Tattoo Events. They have literally the best, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events in the world. You can find them at worldtattooevents.com. Thank you to Raw Pigments, Tattoo Now, and of course, the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo, Guy Aitchison. Guy's got his Biomech Encyclopedia, DVDs, all that stuff, paintings, and more at guyaitchison.com. Also, thank you, Fireside Tattoo Network, the Apprenticeship Diaries, and ecofriendlytattoosupplies.com. If you guys have any questions about what you see, or if you'd like to sponsor our community, you can contact us through Gmail at management@reinventingthetattoo.com. And that's about all I have to say for tonight. And I can't believe it's episode number 80. So you guys, congratulations to making it through. I'm going to go ahead and bring you in. All right.
So,
Episode
80.
Thanks, Lauren. Great job. We were clowning the whole time and you kept it together brilliantly. Good job.
Guys, you have no idea. It's tough because I'm like there with you in my head, but then I know that I need to do these things.
You're like,
say
I can't
these things.
look at your guys' square.
No, I can't. Actually, you guys are over here.
Sorry.
So yeah, 80 episodes. That's a lot of time spent getting to know you guys.
Yep.
That's nuts.
80.
What's 3 times 80?
240.
40.
Yep.
Yeah.
240. Good mental math, girl.
That's a lot of hours.
Yeah. That's a lot of hours of talking about tatties, smoking weed,
And aliens.
aliens.
Man, the aliens one, but they've literally changed my life.
Yes, I love that.
Oh man,
Yeah.
oh man.
I love
If
that.
only we could inspire so many others in the
Well, I
same
didn't know that
That's
I
my
should
part
probably.
here. That's where I'm.
It's true. I didn't know that I should probably pay closer attention to the sky because like I'm totally missing out. And by missing out, I'm being naive as to what's going on in the world.
Mhm.
So
You just
in the
gotta look.
universe.
I
Yeah.
love that everybody's still looking out instead of in. What about the oceans, man?
Where's this music coming from?
That's my cell phone for work.
Ben's
and I'm
work phone.
It's
sorry.
like cue
It's okay.
inspirational music.
It
in
is
the
kind of
background.
inspirational music.
Yeah, 2014. You getting that call. But
So-
all right, you guys, I'm
That's
gonna jump
awesome,
out.
Thanks
you.
for bringing us in, Lauren.
Yep.
So we're 80 episodes in. It's a pretty rad milestone. We're
is.
approaching 100 rather quickly. But we know what we haven't done in a while is like actually go around and introduce ourselves and talk about our collections and like our tattoo history. Should we do that real quick? Just take like a couple moments each,
I
and then
think
we'll
so, but
introduce Siobhan, because
okay.
Siobhan's been collecting like right along with me from the
Siobhan!
start. So we'll take our turns. I'll go, and then Siobhan will go.
Right.
Yeah.
How's Siobhan? I haven't seen you forever and a day.
Right, dude. It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Look at them specs. You're coming in hot. What's going on?
I just got out of work. So
Nice.
Look at that Florida sunshine behind her.
Ooh.
Hell yeah. Well, good to meet you, Siobhan. I don't think we've met before.
I don't think so. Yeah, I usually get dragged along on Fawn's amazing adventures through life. Either her people or my people, but we always leave a lasting impression on both of our people. So
Yeah, we have that in
As it
common.
should be.
yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
your guys' quiet spirits.
I
I
would not.
So
I don't think Siobhan fits that definition at all.
That
I'm
was-
the quiet one.
I didn't know if I dripped
between
that
the
in
two of us.
sarcasm enough. I'm sorry.
I feel like-
Let me
Yeah,
try
right.
that again.
I feel like
because you're soft. No.
Well, you might think you're quiet, but you have
You're
a loud
not.
spirit.
Yeah, your spirit's loud, baby.
have you met Siobhan?
No,
I'm the
no.
quiet one between the two of us.
Like-
That's all I'm saying.
I said
Just
spirits. I
between the
didn't
two
mean
of
your
us.
physical bodies. But yeah, Siobhan and I pretty much screamed at each other for the first 2 hours when we met the first time. It was amazing in the best way. Hey,
The best way.
exciting.
right.
I didn't mean it like we were mad.
Mostly
We've both been known to be boisterous.
was the amount of the weed, like the weed buffet laid out in front of you guys. On top of that, the toddler.
we like to share with one another.
Right. I mean, I can say I personally never partaken in anything that substantial in a basement before.
You're welcome.
There's drugs in a basement. It's cocaine. I've never
Nope,
Or-
not in the high, baby. You've
Or
been hanging out in Florida too long.
right. No, that was Michigan.
Fair bet.
That's a lot of gay guys and nightclubs in Michigan. That's what that was.
Yeah, I could see that equaling a little touch of little blows.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep.
We were
I'm not gonna say I've been to that party, but like I've thrown a couple.
they are the best parties, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, no, I'm a Fawn sketchbook, honestly. Like from the beginning to now, I got some great Fawn and I got some bad Fawn. Probably the only person in the world that could say they got bad Fawn tattoos. And I wear that with pride.
We learn, you know.
It's almost cooler.
Right.
I'm gonna be real. I've got some of my buddies early work, and that's what we call it, just early work.
Early work, yeah.
And
I got a lot of buddies who got my early work.
I
Mhm.
just
That's
fucking
for sure.
see this. Remember I cried.
And they love it.
You
It's
thought
their
it was I was just being weird.
It's
No.
their favorite.
That's what
We-
entitles you to like special privileges, though, is
Right.
those early years of collecting. Is we're like fumbling and figuring our way like through.
Right. The getting stabbed with a tattoo needle because you can't hold still and realizing that actually leaves a spot that never goes.
That's mine now.
I got this amazing fawn portrait on my forehead, and right behind Dolly's ear is my dad or my brother's first and only tattoo. He was a fawn apprentice for exactly like 6 weeks and didn't like the pressure of tattooing and quit.
That's how it goes.
Get out early. I mean, hey, I'd rather you get out early than drag on something you hate.
Right. And it's funny because it's one and only tattoo and it's pretty good. Like it's not the worst tattoo I got on my body either. So, and you always hate when you see someone who has talent or can add something, just quit because they don't want to do the loops, right? They don't want to jump through the hoops, they want to do the work, and it's sad because it's like, oh, there could be great art there, just quit. No one likes a quitter, ever.
It's the same with the musician that you've known your entire life that can play every instrument and doesn't think about it. Just like, oh yeah, I can sit down and play piano today.
That's such a good comparison.
And just
It really
doesn't want to deal with the grind of making it work. There's so much availability in where we live and what we do to just go down the street and work some mindless paycheck that it takes huevos to do something like this. And I admire anyone that chases a passion because I work a mindless job. So
You know, the funny part is you say musician, and it's funny because the guy me and Fawn actually went to school with, and a couple people we went to school with were absolutely fantastic musicians, right? They could sing, they could play. I mean, like, we have a guy who I grew up with. He got a full ride scholarship for playing the mandolin.
yes.
You know what I mean? Like, for the mandolin, he didn't even play another instrument. Like, when the last time you've heard a mandolin on a record? You know what I mean? And he got a full college for it.
REM?
Mandolins
Losing
are
my
actually
religion?
like back now.
Is that
so
it?
with that, REM does have a mandolin in Losing My
Right.
Religion.
And the funny part is the kid that we made fun of, who sat in front of the gas station and played a ukulele for Fago money, that people call cops on and be like, "Oh, get that dirty hippie out of here!" Like, you know, he literally was nominated for a Grammy on Sunday.
Nice.
Like,
Love it.
it's mind-boggling to be like, "Oh, that's the kid that I actually threw a half full Fago bottle at when I was here in high school." I really hope I don't get mentioned in any rock docs for being a total bag.
Now he's
To
going
be
to write
fair-
a whole Fago tosser song for you. If not, he's going to now. I'm calling him. I don't even know who he is. Looking it up, figuring it out, and being like, broskies.
Fago tosser.
Fago toss. I don't know how you got to work that into whatever style of music you sing, but let me help you.
Dude, it's bluegrass. He'll figure it the fuck out.
Oh,
Like,
Fago toss. It's already halfway there. Like,
right, this fat Dutch bitch threw Fago at me in Michigan. That's the whole album.
You can
Right.
just throw your ethnicity. You went old school. You went Dutch. Like, I'm white.
It's not fat. It's nicer than saying fat. Or tall. You just put Dutch on it. Like, you know,
All
can
encompassing.
walking across the beach. You don't say, "Oh, look at that fat bitch." You say, "Oh, she must be Dutch."
I'm good now.
Right. Oh, she's combative and might hit her boyfriend. No, she's Dutch. She might do cocaine off your penis. No, she's Dutch.
That's a European energy. Yeah, it just runs deep. Yeah, but
right. It slides into the conversation a lot more professionally. You know, when you're in divorce court and they're like, "Did you strike him with a Dr. Pepper can?" And you have to say, "Well, I'm Dutch." It sounds better than I have. So it just plays out better.
just plays out better.
It just plays out better.
I think I might adapt this theory.
You just go for it, right? I mean,
I don't know. I was adopted, so I mean, it could be anything.
bro, I'll officially adopt you.
No, that was total sarcasm. I know both my parents.
I'll still adopt you. You still
I'll
be
take
Dutch.
that. Like, let's run. I'll send the paperwork. Let's sign that shit. Can I be your dependent? Can we make that happen? Can I just stop being responsible for shit?
I mean, if there's a check from the state, I'm down for whatever. I don't want to call it welfare, but if there's a check involved, I will usually say yes. I mean, I am a product of the 80s. I don't use Cash App. I prefer check.
Right. I love when people are like, "Hey, can I Venmo you?" I'm like, no. Like, no, I don't know.
No.
If I can't light it on fire, I don't want it.
That's
Right.
fair. That's a fair way to live.
It's a nice way to live. But that's how you end up smoking things. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
Sorry.
so Siobhan, it's
She
great to
got
meet you and hear
distracted.
about your tattoo collection a little bit, though. Fawn's done a lot of work on you. Anything recently?
Honestly, I think the most recent was my thigh. And that was about 2 years ago. And that was not my last tattoo, but that was definitely my last Fawn tattoo.
The mutual one.
Yep.
Mhm. And then there's the Dolly one. But we were just talking about you being Dutch. I feel like you should show off your sofa tattoo.
Bro, I can't because I got a sweatshirt on. I had to take my whole shirt off. But so being Dutch is actually like a very serious thing where I'm from. It's
So
really-
hold on. Okay, so my last name is Baker, and I always wondered growing up when people would be like, "How do you spell it?" And then I'm like, that was on my second grade spelling test. Like, what do you mean? How do you spell Baker? It's a word. Baker, Baker, duh. But then I realized that like all of West Michigan is Dutch, and there's like Bakkeker, Bakerr. There's a few other variations.
And that A-E thing that
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. There's that weird with like the accent. I
Baker.
don't know the name. Yeah, so because of all the Dutch heritage in West Michigan, I had to tell people my whole life how to spell my last name.
Right. Like literally, I live in Florida now, and I'm tan. Like this is as tan as my skin will literally go. Okay. Anything past this point, and I'm either red or there's a blister involved, right? Like this is tan. This is as dark as I go. And in Michigan, I'm tan, right? I'm walking down the street. I'm the same color as everybody else who lives in a tanning bed. In Florida, I look like I crawled out of a grave. I can't get any darker, and yet I'm still probably 20 shades lighter than the lightest white person in Florida that I've met so far.
That's something that we didn't talk about the Tampa show, because it really didn't have anything to do with the show. It was just like an observation. But as Jen and I were standing outside, like waiting to get our food, and we were in line, I'm like looking around and realizing that like light is beaming off from my person. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like reflective.
Your mic cuts out.
Right.
Yeah. So you take
Okay.
that off.
Okay, I'll do this different.
Sorry.
It's a real thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're feeling good and you look around and you're like, oh my God, like I look like I am literally a warmed up corpse compared to these people. And they're not even going out in the sun. Like, who would have guessed? Like this was a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I was Caucasian, but like when I looked around and realized like, wow, these people have a tan already. It's April.
Florida people just practice being in the sun.
Well, that's
They're like,
fair.
what are you doing? Just sitting in the sun?
Trying to
What
do
do
it
you mean?
longer than yesterday.
I'm tanning. You live in fucking Florida. You look like shoe leather. You don't need a base layer. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Bro, no, like, but for real though, but then it's like when you look at them without comparison, they're not that tan. You know what I mean? Like if
It's not
I wasn't
tan
so
anymore.
white, you wouldn't think that they were tan.
Right.
It's like shit. Like I guess it does matter where you're born at. Like, I
But
hate to say
also, I bet there's a lot of people who just stay inside. When it's hot as shit, you just tend to stay inside a little bit more.
Oh, I'm sure.
Would you say that could be the case where you get some people, like a lot of people that just stay white because they just never go outside?
I think it's really just because they're closer to the equator. Those sun rays, there's something else down there.
dude, there's
I was outside for a half hour
It's so
and felt
intense
burnt.
down there. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I went to Miami. I'd go outside and literally like breathing was like I could feel the air. It was just so thick with heat and sun
I
and
call that breathing man.
and just like
Breathing
moisture.
mayonnaise.
It's like moisture. Like you could feel the air coming
You
in.
take a
so,
breath and it like almost gags you. You go,
right?
no, that's legit.
Like you're almost breathing water, but like, oh, okay. We're actually breathing things here.
no.
Right. No, dude, it was 89 here yesterday, and my floors were wet with like dew
Ew.
from the humidity.
The
I was
last thing I want is chunky air. Can I just be honest? Like,
You
I
know,
have a hard enough time with my fucked up respiratoriness. and
right? I drink water.
Chunky air is not my thing.
Right. I don't drink water at all. I try to avoid it as much as like beer or craft beer. So the humidity I feel is really gonna bring up my hydration level.
Just walk around with your mouth open, like
Right. It's the only way water into my body today. But yeah, there might be health benefits to it. I don't know.
The human
But-
air plant.
Right.
This is my humidity zone that I should have been in the whole time.
that's funny.
Right. But so, in Western Michigan, it's all Dutch. My dad is one of 16, and I have 32 first cousins,
Wow.
with like a 20-mile radius, right? So dating is impossible, or trying to be an individual, which is why I turned to tattoos or just being a blatant asshole about everything. So, when Fawn got into tattooing, it was always a joke because my dad my dad always had a bumper sticker that said, "If you ain't Dutch, you ain't much," on the back of his pickup truck, right? And my dad is, we're Dutch. We love those stupid windmill cookies. They're a staple of life in Western Michigan.
They are a staple.
The rest of the world has Oreos. Western Michigan has windmill cookies. That's just what it is, right? And
You know what she's talking about?
What?
The almond windmill cookies.
Yeah.
You see them all over.
Mhm.
Jordan's from Grand Rapids as well, so.
Oh, okay.
Dutch country.
Right. So he knows exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like they're just.
I just eat at Dear Dutchman a lot and also knew what you were talking about.
Which is funny. Don't smoke Dutch Masters because they're fucking junk.
Yeah.
Can't claim everything this Dutch. So it was a couple years after Fawn got going. Fawn had just kind of gotten out of that weird phase of tattoo rodeos and house parties, and we had discovered the magic of bigger is better. Bigger is better together. I'm a big girl. I got a big arm. I got big hands. Little tattoos weren't working for me, right? That wasn't eating up enough space, basically. And Fawn was already on a limited time frame. So we decided we're going to do the whole inside of my arm, and we're going to do it in one tattoo. And literally, it's just like, whatever, I don't care. Put something on there. And Fawn's like, there's got to be something. And I was like, what about my cookie tattoo? And she's like, let's do it. So we did a gigantic windmill cookie that says, if you Dutch, you ain't much. And it's surrounded in tulips. And it's the whole inside of my arm. And it's my dad tribute tattoo and my Western Michigan tattoo. And there goes that Dutch bitch tattoo. All
in one.
the side of my arm. So
I love it. I've been with you and people are like, you have a cookie on your arm?
right. My favorite is that a snow cone? Like Gucci Mane? Like, no, that's like a snow cone like a fat white kid would have. Like, why does Gucci Mane? That's not a snow, that's an ice cream cone. Like, learn your rappers. Like, get the hell. So, but yes. And then the snow cone. Snow cone's always a good one. One of those little flash bangers that, Fawn doesn't like to do, but we'll do for close friends and family.
So our other friend, Dana, for years and years had no tattoos. So when Dana was like, I'm ready to get tattooed. First of all, I was like, no, you're not. You're just messing with me. So when she was down, we did the cupcake first and then the snow cone came later, but the matching snow cones.
Right. The funny
snow cones.
Matching snow cones. But they're like legit. They're like little new school, like a hard outline, kind of glowy, but like.
Right. No, it's
it's okay.
The backstory of that is I got my first tattoo when I was 15, and I was the first one. And Fawn's like, that's not horrible. Like, you could have made worse life choices. Right? I could be pregnant. We live in Ionia. That on my foot. Like, I feel like good life. But then, Fawn's brother had done some tattooing on the side when he was younger. And Fawn always kind of was interested in it. And we had a bunch of, random things happen. And Fawn's tattooing and I have tattoos. And Dana's like, well, I want to be part of the club. And we're like, yeah, you're not ready.
It's not your time.
Right. And then she finally came that she only has a couple and they're small, but they're actually really awesome one-of-a-kind tattoos that you don't see everywhere.
Especially not there, not in Ionia.
Right. Well, she made the most out of her baby collection, basically, right? Like, you see people who collected cars, right? And you always see like Bel Airs or Fairlanes or something with a wing. But 1984 Toyota Corolla in mint condition, where you're like, that really loves cars. Like, there's a story here. Like, there was a man he made that car, bro. Like, that's why he loves it. It's not about cash value. It's about the love that goes into it, right? So her collection is small, but it's one of a kind, and it all means something to her. And it's really great to see that, major collectors cover their whole bodies and have like their whole backs and their legs to dedicate to this stuff. And then there's these little novices that have like the space between their forearm and just above their elbow before it gets tender. That's where they're but they invest it wisely. And it's like, okay, you know, like there's thought here, there's caring, there's, you know, some sort of forethought into what you're going to be in 40 years. And if that's the story you want to tell someone, right? Like, nobody wants to be 80 years old with $100 rose tattoo on their vagina and having to explain to their hospice nurse why it's there. Like,
Bullshit. I cannot wait to start telling some stories. Like, all right. So don't judge me.
Ben's like, can I meet my
But-
hospice nurse early? Can I start the stories
Let's
now?
go. We gonna have a minute. Say, what is that hash ass bullshit? Like, let me tell you a story. One night, 3 a.m.
I can't even wait for them to roll Fawn in her Depends to keep her from getting bed sores, and they see her back and like, oh my god, you let those little kids color on you again. Oh my god. But no, I mean, yeah, it's been a long journey, and honestly, I wish I would have, because you know, thanks to Fawn, I have met some pretty incredible artists over the years and some pretty incredible people, and I wish I would have added more to my collection outside of just Fawn. But at the same time, having an artist who's so versatile, it's nice to have. Like, I have a variety of art styles, I have a variety of sizes, I have a variety of subject matter. And if I didn't tell you they all came from the same artist, you would never know. You know what I mean? Like, they all have their own on their own. So it's not like I'm walking around with like a Fawn's total sketchbook on my my leg, but at the same time, you know, individually they all stand alone. So nice.
Yeah, I've never thought about it like that, but your collection, like, you're one of the people that I've worked on often enough that, like, if you go through my work chronologically on you, you can see my growth from one piece to the next. So I'm always proud of that. Like, we poke fun at my early stuff, and like, obviously it's not as good. I didn't know as many tricks yet, and I was still learning and figuring out what works in what way. But like,
bro, 2002, there was low rise involved in Playboy bunny tank tops. Like, I feel like nothing was really good at that point in time. So I mean,
these are the Carney tattoo days.
Oh, that's my favorite.
This was before me. This was before I was tattooing.
I love it. That's my favorite thing in the whole wide world. I own Jinkos. Come at me.
dude, my Carney tattoos are actually not that bad. I mean, I've seen some
tattoos. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Right? Like, look, I walked in there with the understanding of this guy does meth. It has to be quick, simple, not to ask for a fucking lot, right? Like, there was a basic understanding. Don't reach for the stars, just reach for a treetop. Keep it simple, keep it light, get in, get out. Like, no time did I go in and did I ask for, you know, the Venus de Milo on my calf at 4 a.m. while he's at the end of a bender. I did wait for the end of the bender so I could get a better price, but you know,
gotta keep them coming back. Gotta keep them coming back.
Right. You know, I'm also that asshole who went and got their nipples pierced and was like, "Oh no, I only got $10," and he's like, "Oh, I guess okay," and then had him break a 20 and not tip him when I left. So
hold on. We got to tell the rest of this story. Because this is the worst. This is the worst story. This is
you got $5 a tee. It still didn't tip him. It made him make you change.
Oh yeah. Look,
I need details.
Then
I'm Dutch. I only had $10 to spend. I didn't have $10 in my pocket. I only had $10 to spend. Thing. You have to clarify.
Fair.
So we get out to the truck, and what happens? Lock the keys inside of it.
Yeah.
So we had to go back in after the awkward exchange.
Look, this was a whole series of awkward exchanges from the minute we hit the front door.
To be fair, yes.
Right. I'm 6 foot and Fawn is right behind me. But I'm 3 of Fawn meshed together in a pair of Jinko jeans and bad attitude. And we go to this ghetto tattoo shop and they have on the door piercings, 2 for $20. And I'm like, cool. So we go in and they're like, "Oh, how are you and your girlfriend today?" And it's not my girlfriend. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you know, so I'm already shitty. And it's like, "Oh, well, I want to get my nipples pierced." So we go back. I have to take my top off in front of a total stranger, which I'm not okay with because, you know, I'm 3 of Fawn squished into a pair of jeans. Those fucking jeans. So I'm sitting there topless with my friend to my side and a total stranger clamping my nipple off. And I'm thinking, maybe this is not where I need to be in my life right now. Like maybe I'm making mistakes, right?
Nah.
And Fawn's like, no, it'll be fine. It'll be quick. And it's like, I don't need a cheerleader, Fawn. Like, just be quiet.
She's been encouraged enough.
I'm trying to encourage, man.
She has always been super supportive. She's a great friend. And so he does the first one, and I screech like a cow getting hit by a fucking backhoe. And then the second one, there's a puddle on the table, and I'm clenching Fawn's hand, and it's super awkward because it was like rounding third base with my best friend with just holding hands. And then
Eye contact.
No, I
Right.
felt dirty too. The whole exchange was awkward for everybody in the room.
everybody, we just wanted to fucking. And I ripped the guy off. I didn't rip him off. I only had $10 to spend. So he makes me change, and he's shitty. We get out to my piece of shit pickup truck. I've locked the keys inside of it. I have to go inside, ask for a screwdriver and a hanger so we can prop the door open. Mind you,
That's the pro tip right there. You just let out that nobody knows. See, she asked for a screwdriver and a hanger. Not most people know what the screwdriver's for.
the
She
screwdriver
mentioned her dad was Dutch, right?
Yeah, I know. That's why I let it fly.
A Dutch farmer at that.
Dutch farmer.
A Dutch farm mechanic.
She
at
made
that.
a few weeks.
So what
Yeah.
we did, right? We get the door open, and Fawn's like, "Oh, let me run the
Right back,
screwdriver back." And I'm like, "No." Like, throw it in the bed of the truck, and we left. So not only did I rip him off $10, but I stole his screwdriver and his hanger.
You took an $8 screwdriver. they lost money on this encounter. They were just happy you were gone too. Let me be real. They're like, the fuck just happened? Did we just get like where's the camera? How did we lose money? And they left with 2 pieces of jewelry.
Right. I'm sure there's a picture of me still hanging in this tattoo shop. If you see Steve. But yeah, and that's not even the most awkward story me and Fawn have when it comes to your body modification. So yeah, no, I mean, it is what it is. It's always fun to go exploring, as they say.
Sure, fun's the word we're using. Fun.
Long story short, Siobhan has learned the hard way that body modification is not her thing and to stick with tattoos.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So because I'm a good friend and I've only listened to the podcast twice. Who are
Fair.
tattoos by? Like where do most of yours come from?
Ben?
Me or fun?
You, the guy.
The gay. I started my collection with a guy named Dan Wesley, who at the time was the owner of Body Language in Whitehall. And I went to that shop to him for about 10 years.
Why him? Like, what was it?
My buddy was like, "This is the guy I know." And I went, "What's up, guy? My guy knows." 10 years later, here we are. No, it was one of those like, don't fix what not's broken. He took good care of me. I enjoyed the environment, the atmosphere, the sideshow life that was the tattoo studio. So he ended up going to train triathletes. He left tattooing and basically was like, "Well, here's the bros at the shop. they can finish what you got going on." So the guys at the shop at the time were all still now considered pretty heavy hitters. So I got a lot of work from Richard Cook, who now owns Greystone Tattoo. I got some my whole legs done by Kevin Stress, who owns Enzo Tattoo. Got stuff by Denny Michaels, who owns Nobility Tattoo in Austintown. I've got some Toby Gearlich from that shop. Who
He's in Arizona now?
is now in Arizona. You just playing footsie with me? I don't know what's going on. Use words.
You're stepping on. I
Use
thought I
words.
could get it without. without interrupting you.
No, you're fine. Interrupt me. Let's see. And all those guys ended up kind of branching out and doing their own things. A lot of them transferred over to Red Tree. So when they started working at Red Tree, I was in the middle of my back piece with Rich, and I kind of got to know some of the people over there. And that shop was in the middle of transitioning as well, and kind of got to grow with them and hang out with them a lot. And then when those guys all left, they went and started all their own shops. Speaking specifically of Rich and Kevin Stress, they opened up another 2 big heavy hitting shops here in Columbus. So
Yep, really solid teams.
but
Both.
at that point, I was hanging out with all the Red Tree people, had gotten involved with El City, ended up meeting Fawn and
It was like
everybody
when
that's here.
Ben and I became acquainted, it was like in Step Brothers, where it was like, did we just become best friends?
What?
And really, it was probably like because everybody else in the smoke circle tapped out and neither of
We're
us
just
did. And we just like kept throwing in and rolling another and
So
throwing in and rolling another.
You want to keep doing this,
And then
right?
we were like
Okay.
smoking while we were doing productive things together at the same time. And it was like, we're best friends now.
I see in my style of photo.
Mhm.
You know what? It's funny you say that though, because I remember you calling me like, "Oh my God, I finally met someone I can smoke with." Like, you're right. And then me being like, "What? Like somebody else has the lung capacity for weed smoke? You do? Like, what the hell, Fawn?"
Well, there's just there gets this point where you just kind of level off, and most people don't know how to get there. And the trick is to just keep smoking, guys. Okay, so eventually you'll just get to this point where you're like, this is the level, and that's where I want to be. I want to hang out at that level. I want to. That's when I am.
I like that level a lot.
Mhm.
I'm slowed
And the more
down
I
enough.
smoke, the
Yeah.
longer I can like
Just stay
stretch
in
that level window.
Three-
Speaking of, do you guys
3
want some
gram-
edibles?
3 gram
Yes.
blunt,
So-
8 times a day.
If I can stay on that, I'm not nervous, anxious, ADD, doing 900 things. And it's weird to explain to people that don't smoke like that or don't understand that. There's just this point where you level off, and that's where I want to hang out.
But
So
at the
finding
same
somebody else that
time-
wants to get to that point.
But
was-
at the
was
same time,
amazing.
there's this other kind of smoker who likes to just smoke to continue smoking, or like they'll just do dab after dab after dab just to show
Nah.
off that they're doing it. And to me, that's wasteful. It's like you're not even enjoying it
Nah,
anymore.
I want to take my time.
But like the person that can actually like get high and enjoy the act of getting high and like enjoys the act of like consuming and
Well,
like
it's about-
appreciating
it's
weed.
about hanging
Not
out,
everybody
too.
smokes
I
it
like
that
it.
way.
I like it to continue throughout the entire day, all day. But I like appreciating it the entire time throughout the day.
Right.
I don't
wanna
get the
rush.
same out of dabs and stuff because it's just too quick. I like the sitting, hanging out, taking some
Mhm.
time for my brain, multiple times a day. The only times I smoke is when I'm going to smoke a blunt. And so I smoke a blunt. That's my time to take 15, 20 minutes, just like
Right.
I would a cigarette or something like
Right.
that.
I totally agree. Like where other people would take smoke like cigarette breaks to deflate, that's my time to like sit and roll up and like reflect and like then whatever I'm like preparing to do, be it like kick into gear and be productive or chill out or eat or whatever, like I'm putting that intention into the weed as I'm rolling it. So like there's this connection to like this is my magic medicine for whatever I'm about to do because I'm putting that intention into it.
Right.
So like I can smoke the same jar of weed for 3 days straight, but every time I smoke it, it's with a different intention
Right.
and therefore I get a different result out of it.
Right.
So I think there's
I feel like
something.
so many times, I mean, if not every time, I'm rolling a blunt, I'm usually thinking about, what am I going to do after this blunt? And like, what is this blunt? What are my like thoughts going into this blunt? So then I can contemplate that while I'm smoking the blunt, especially if I'm alone. But even with friends, usually when I smoke a blunt, something else is going to happen after that. So,
So-
just contemplating on what the rest of the day or what life is.
So sometimes it's like a commitment for me. Sorry.
Hey, bud.
Sometimes it's like a commitment for me. I'm like, all right, I'm going to smoke this and then I'm going to do this thing.
Mhm.
No, I smoked it. I treated myself first. I got my reward ahead of schedule. Now I am forced to do this thing because I've already rewarded myself.
Mhm.
So it's like I get that, like that planning phase of take a minute, figure out what's going on, and
Mhm.
execute a plan. But since Fawn and I became really good smoking buddies, I started hanging out at Red Tree a lot. She started tattooing me a bunch. I got tattooed by Toby while he was still here. Got some Derb tattoos, got some Ben Rife tattoos, got some Corey tattoos, got some, I don't know, bunch.
Not a me one yet.
I'm gonna make it happen.
It's coming.
Let's do it.
It's not your fault.
Let's do it live on air.
We both agreed that it's
should.
gonna happen.
Let's do
We
it.
should
Let's
do
it.
an
Let's do a tatty
evening,
palm
an
blaster
evening of,
on air.
I'm down.
All right.
our
Let's
rooms
show
are
the
big enough.
world.
We
Let's
can
do it.
banter
Okay.
about.
Show 100. We're gonna tattoo my palms, guys.
Ew.
One. Uno. I still gotta use one.
All three of your palms.
All three.
Ew.
Well, my third's already. Never mind. So yeah, it was. I'm very, very fortunate to never have not had to reach far to find high quality artists. I happened to fall into a really awesome circle of guys that really gave a shit early, and I got a lot of good tattoos early because a lot of these guys were still in that competitive art phase where had shit to prove and they
Trying
were
to
all
one-up
pushing
each other.
and yeah, but in
Like
the,
to playfully one
in
up.
the best way. Like, look at this amazing thing I just did. And the next guy's like, oh, I see how you did X, Y, and Z. I am now going to put that in my next two. And fuck your last one. This thing's amazing. And that kind of environment just bred these powerhouse artists like Nate Marty, like David Boggins. I've got David Boggins tattoos. Like all these guys went on to do, I mean, David Boggins owns American Crow. Nate Marty owns Hollow Earth. All these people went on to kill it. So I was very, very, very lucky. Very lucky to fall in with some heavy hitters early and then transfer to the top of the platform seamlessly without just like I grew with my
Everybody
tattooers.
grew up, yeah.
It was I'm the luckiest collector there can be. And now I get to sit with my homies and talk about getting tatty blasted. It's amazing. I love it.
It is amazing.
It's been a weird life choice I didn't ever make intentionally. Like when I got my first tattoo, I never would have told you I had a bodysuit. I would never have told you I would have gotten this far. Like it's kind of crazy. Where tats take you.
Ooh, they take you.
I think that could be my memoir.
Nice.
Where
cats
tats, oh, they
take you.
you. Ooh, oh yeah, they're gonna take you.
Or a shitty song. Not that one.
Well, no, you directly
I feel like
implied.
I'm banging you tonight.
You directly just implied that my song was good. You said no, a shitty one.
Yeah, no. I want a shitty song about my life.
No, I don't want a good one. I want a shitty one.
It's gonna be sad. We might as well.
No worries, man.
Yeah. So
What
yeah,
about you, Jordan?
where's J-Doggy's tattoos from?
Oh, so what about me? All right, where do I begin?
Well, like
Well-
before you start that though, how did you? So I remember when you and Fawn first like met up, right? Like when you and Fawn first like kind of connected up a few years ago, right? Because she kept going on and on about this great tattoo artist out of Grand Rapids that she had found, and I remember when that first happened. But yeah, like
After the Paradise event that we went to, Rob Shaw had
The Reinventing
the
Live.
Reinventing Live over at his studio, and
That was
Jordan
literally
had
like
actually-
2 days after I got the job from
yeah,
Derek.
Jordan had actually
here.
just been hired here, but hadn't like come down to like meet us all yet. So like we met by happenstance there, and it was like, oh, I had no idea you were from Grand Rapids.
Right away. I was already trying to feel out who smoked at Red Tree and stuff. Derb already was talking about it the first day. He was explaining, he's like, Fawn smokes, he's like, I smoke, he's like, and just
Here's the
telling me
rules.
how cool it all was, just because I think he was happy that like I was gonna come on the team and like be someone who smoked too. So it's like cool, another person who smokes.
I remember the day you came in an interview.
It's not that you need to
We
smoke
probably
at
smoked
Red
that.
Tree.
Oh no, you were painting the
Yeah,
inside.
I
and
was,
walked in.
I
I
was.
was like, yeah, I'm here to see Derb in 1 second. I'm like, who's this guy? I don't know. He could be anybody.
I was the guy painting the wall. I was no one important.
You were the man. We became friends right away as soon as I came in here. You guys were my smoking buddies right off the bat. But first thing me and Fawn did, immediately went out to her van. We smoked 3 blunts.
we
We
know
smoked
each
3
other.
blunts.
Yeah, this is
it's funny
actually
you.
And that was exactly why I was really stoked about that, because I was like, awesome, another functioning like stoner, someone who can like get super fucking baked. And you outsmoked me because I was too
It's
fucking
not a
baked.
contest.
It's not.
No, it's not. But I thought I smoked a lot, and then like we smoked 3 blunts, and I was fucking ripped. And now, honestly, 3 blunts is not. I get
we
leveled
warm it
out.
up.
I level out. You can't get me too high.
See, I love it.
Try it.
Yeah.
Try it.
Yeah,
But
we've learned.
We've learned.
um,
So- it's experimented. We've experimented.
The only time you're gonna knock me out is edibles.
But that was exciting. It was an exciting time to come into Red Tree and like have someone else who smoked like that. And then everyone else did, and so did you. And
But,
it wasn't
like-
about smoking. It was just like, sweet, I got people who I have more than just tattooing in common with. So
It's
like,
an easy thing.
I know how
to-
for years, you know, that's been like something that's brought like me and so many people together.
It's an easy thing to bond over. It's an
Mhm.
easy. You have to take the time to physically smoke the weed. And if you're doing it with someone, you're generally talking about having a
Right.
good time,
Yeah.
bonding, getting to know each other. And
Because that's usually what it is. It just opens you up. You know, it's not about like, oh, you smoke weed, cool, we're obviously gonna be friends. It's like, you know,
you've
you're
got that
already a
time
cool
to talk
person, and then you
chill.
smoke weed. Like we're
Mhm.
obviously
We have
like
an
now we
intention.
got something in common, and we also have something that we can do and fucking
a reason to spend time. There's a lot of people that I love that we just don't share the same interests. We don't hang out because we don't do the same things.
Mhm.
And it's like, why haven't I seen you in 6 months? And it's like, oh yeah, you don't like any of the things I like. There's never a reason for us to hang out except for this one random event we always see each other at, or you know, whatever. And it's just kind of it's always been weird to me how that plays out.
You know,
I
I've
feel
always
like-
I feel that.
Oh, go ahead.
it's always like, oh, you know, we got this to bond over, or oh, this person loves this, or this person loves that. And it's like, you know, I find hate brings me closer to people. Right? Hate is like the ultimate bonding act for me. It's not it's
Like
something
hating each other or both hating the same thing.
right. Like we can really connect on the things that we dislike more than the things we do like. Because I like all sorts of things, but it's very specific the things that I hate. Right. Like it's a very detailed paragraph of hate. So when your detailed paragraph of hate also matches, like we are soulmates. We can get through the hurricane together because you hate the same shit I hate. That means we can be locked in a room together without having to really have to worry about hurting each other. Right?
This is fair. This is fair, Siobhan. I never thought about it like that, but that's the thing. We're like incredibly different personality types, but when you talk about the things that like at our core are important to us, our pet peeves are the same. Our
Exactly.
pet peeves
So
are
what
the
you're
same.
saying is you put all your friends on a stranded on a desert island scenario. And if that
Right.
doesn't map out, we ain't homies.
Right. If I would eat you in the first 48 hours, then you know what, you're at the island.
I'm
Ray,
fast,
hey,
Siobhan.
Ray, I
I'm
hate-
fast. That's all I'm
I
saying.
hate fawn. Do you hate fawn? I think I'm gonna eat fawn. Do you want to eat fawn?
Don't eat me. Don't eat me.
Ain't no meat on them bones.
We're- Fuck Ben. We're both. You think? Hey Ben,
But
we're gonna eat
I'd probably be the most valuable meal.
Ben.
I'll fight you for it, Ben. But,
Okay.
no, but you know, the funny part is though, is like when you think about it, when like you're sitting in the smoke circle, right? And because I don't smoke, right? Like I haven't smoked weed since college. Because I'm the only person in the world who can smoke weed and actually turn into the Hulk and break something. It's not a joke. I actually have like really, really bad reactions to it. And not like allergic, but like I will rip the hood off of a car if I'm high.
Yeah, it's like your mild paranoia gives you Hulk strength.
Dude, it's like hard strong is what they say. I can't. I really can't. It's not an enjoyable event for me. But I'll sit in the circle all day. I have no problem. I'll pivot. I'll roll. I'll light that for you. I'll go bake cookies. Like I can make some awesome edibles, no problem. I just can't. I just don't partake. So, but I'll pivot all day. And I've had some of the best conversations with people in a smoke circle. And it's always about some random off-topic subject that you would never have in a normal everyday conversation, right? Like, how would you identify your political beliefs? Are you Democrat? Are you Republican? Are you communist? Are you Confederate? Are you an anarchist? Are you a liberal? You know what I mean? Like you have all these amazing conversations. And at the end of them, you go home and you're like, I can't believe he said that. What an idiot. Like, God, you're not invited to my island. Like, but God, you're an idiot. Like, you know what I mean? And it's funny because like you guys said, you relax and you open up and you can set your mood, and the people you smoke with affect the mood more than anything, right? So I think it's cool that you guys definitely have each other to bond with over that, though. You know what I mean? Because you guys' like between, you know, Jordan and Fawn, you can see just the two of you. I can't even imagine you in Fawn's pedo van high as shit behind Rich.
Happens a lot.
Right. I would honestly be like, why are you and your brother out there smoking weed right now? Like, get out of the van, you weirdos. Go back to work. So no, I think that's really cool though that you guys bonded over something like that. And you know, it's just nice that you guys are so positive. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Thank you.
Fair enough, now.
Siobhan, it's been nice. She actually calls us high-ons.
You know what? I call Fauna high on because look, my parents are very, very straight edge, right? I literally, when I came home with my first tattoo at 15, I got my ass lit up with a belt buckle. No shame from either one of my parents. Like they both gave it to me, and I lost all privileges for like 2 years, right?
Jesus.
Which led to me doing, you know, cocaine and smoking weed and having sex. But the point is, my parents.
So you're saying it worked?
Oh,
You
yeah.
became a better, more rounded person because of it, huh?
Right, put the fear of God into me.
There you go. Jesus made this better.
Right, he did. My parents aren't religious, though, so that's a saving grace. They're just control freaks, which is lovely. But
It's the same thing.
not really. My mom will literally beat your ass and be like, "You made me do this." And
Yeah, except they don't take just you know, religious people don't take ownership of it. They just say God made me do
I
this.
need to point out the fact. So you've heard me talk about Rita.
Mhm.
Rita is Siobhan's mom. And Siobhan has been as big or bigger than Rita since we were in about 6th grade.
oh my
So when she says these things would go down, Rita was sneaky about it. She'd like walk into the kitchen, act like she was minding her own business, and then like catch Siobhan with the frog knuckle like underneath her rib cage. So Siobhan would be like paralyzed.
dude, it's not funny. Look,
That's how it really happened.
I was 17, right? And me and Fawn had gone to some random house party, and I was so high and so drunk I couldn't drive home, right? And Fawn didn't have a license. So I was like, Fawn, you got to drive. And
I
Fawn's
also
like,
didn't know how to drive a stick yet. This was my first chance or my first experience driving a stick.
Perfectly
Sorry,
sober, I'm sure.
right, dude, I'm blackout, fucked up, telling Fawn how to drive a stick through backcountry Michigan. Somehow we got home. And walk in the door, my mom is standing there, and she's just like, really? Like, are you this stupid? And I was just like, and look, Fawn's not exaggerating. I've had like a foot and 100 pounds on my mom since I was like 13. Okay.
Rita's not a small lady either, though. Like
Right.
Rita's like my size, a little bit bigger than me. So like, I'm just saying.
Right. So my mom is also from Southern California, right? Born and raised in Southern California. And I didn't know what that meant at the time. You know what I mean?
She's
Like,
got some Chicano in there.
dude,
You
it's
don't
not
know it at first glance.
right. You would never guess it. But yeah, so I was fucked up, and I brushed right by her, and she's like, "Not in my fucking house, you ain't." And I was just like, "What are you gonna do about it?" And she literally slapped the shit out of me, and I hit her back, like reflex, right? I hit her back, and I shit you not, she picked me up and ran me across the house like a linebacker, and then pieced me on the kitchen floor to the point where my 6'5" farmer dad had to use his foot on my chest to pry her off of my throat. Like, dude, she tore me up. I was crying. I threatened to call the cops on her, and she's like, "Call, you'll be dead and buried before they get here." And my dad had to walk her to the other room. Like, he had to pick her up and pick her out of the room. Dude, like I said, it was fear of God for at least 20 minutes. But so my parents have always been, and you know, they're pretty straight laced, like, you know, average, whatever. So like, dude, I don't smoke or swear in front of my parents, and I'm 40, and I would smoke and swear in front of the Pope because that's just what I do. And Fawn is over here. We're sitting on my front porch, and my dad pulls up, and he's like, "Hey, Fawn, how are you?" And Fawn has a blunt hanging off her lip, and he's like, "Hey, Chuck, how are you?" Smoking it like it's a cigarette. My dad's just staring at her across the yard, like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And Fawn's like, "Well, you know, been busy, been doing this, been doing that." My dad's like, "Okay." And he gets in the car, and I'm like, "Are you leaving?" And he's like, hell yeah, I'm leaving. If she gets arrested for smoking weed on your front porch, I'm not trying to fucking be here.
It's legal. It's legal in Michigan now. I was okay. I was
wasn't
outside.
legal then, though, Fawn. This was like 7 years ago.
It was. I
Way
didn't
to
smoke
go,
that
homie.
openly,
Way to
especially
go.
around. And your mom said I could. I asked first.
She had permission.
I did. I asked Rita first.
It's okay.
I was like, do you mind if I just smoke out there? And she's like, no, I don't care. I was like, okay.
This is the
Did
whole
ask.
of our relationship because Fawn will ask, like, hey, Rita, can I stay out till like 2 a.m.? Sure, fine. You're a great kid. Hey, Mom, can I stay out till 10? No.
No.
You know,
Hold on, but let's consider the company we were keeping when we asked to stay out late. I'm with like a group of NHS kids and track athletes, and you're with like the other alternative ed kids that are barely in school or their older boyfriends.
I was fat. I needed friends, Fawn.
I'm
Don't put me
just
down
saying.
because of that.
There's just different variables to the equation you're not including.
My friends were parents. They were responsible. They had young children at home. Okay. They had jobs. They went to school full time and worked full time to feed their kids at 17. I feel like they were really good role models. Method.
Fair.
Living the best life.
Right. I was learning life lessons. Like how to go to work drunk or
How to hide a hangover.
We called that the trooper. Yeah. Yep. She was wasted. Yes. She is here. Yes. She is working. Look at her go.
be productive, mildly productive. But no, I mean, it's cool though, because I think dude, Ohio is such a different place than what Grand Rapids is too. And I'm sure Jordan can verify that. It's like a different world down there compared to what Grand Rapids is.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely think it's way different.
Grand Rapids is such a conservative, like nice community, and like.
But there's also it really is, and compared to here, it is. But it's also so funny how, things are relative, but also like where Sacred Expressions was in Easttown, Grand Rapids, there's a lot of that area that was sketchy as shit. Gunshots all the fucking time, people getting robbed all the time around that area. I was like right on the border of like Easttown and then East Grand Rapids, so it was like right there. But Easttown was like downtown Grand Rapids, and like Wealthy Street right there was, just becoming better.
The street.
Funny, we call that Easton, and it was East Town where you were from. Oh,
Right. Oh, big difference. East
But yeah,
Town,
that crepe place is
right. East Town, the artistic college kids live that are, they're trying to make life better. They're trying to,
right. So it's like the little collegey area where you got like
craft beer and art and
you got the hood there because it's cheap to live, but then you got all the college kids too because it's cheap to live.
Fair.
Right. So yeah, no, but the crazy shit that we were doing in Grand Rapids, we could have never done in Columbus, right? Like I would be dead. I would be dead if I would have pulled the shit that I pulled and lived
Fair.
in.
Fair.
It's all right. Just like, Grand Rapids, you can literally go into any tattoo shop and be like, hey, and they're just gonna look at you like you don't belong here. It's like you need to go back over there. Like I don't have, and you're just like, but I just want just to put that panther on my chest for me. Like,
That's funny though. I kind of have the opposite opinion of Grand Rapids. It's so full of, there's definitely the artists trying, but there's so full of people that are like willing to just take on anything. It doesn't matter what it is, as easy as it is to do. I'm not saying as easy as it is to do, as like easy as like they can cut it to do. So like, fuck yeah, you want a tattoo right now? I will pull that shit off Pinterest this instant.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, they
say no more.
Say, I got you, bro. I got you, fam.
Right.
Sit right down.
$20, hell yeah.
I remember when people used to come into the
No,
shop
never mind. $500.
and be like, I want a name a common tattoo. Eagle?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I want an eagle tattoo.
Eagle with a
We'd be
flag.
like, you want the 5th one or the 6th one down on Google? And people would be like, what?
7.
What?
I didn't make it that far. I want 2.
I want number 3 actually. And you just scroll the screen and pick that one. Yep. Print. There you go. What words did you use to find your image? There, that one. Okay, print.
It definitely depends on what studio you walk into, though. I can think of a couple that would definitely turn away anything that wasn't like what they wanted, for sure. But like 3/4 of them, pretty hungry.
There was this one.
Grand Rapids just doesn't
not
have a
gonna-
great, like, there's not a huge clientele basis of people who want like to get bigger tattoos. It's a lot of traditional town. for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm not gonna say the name of the artist or shop, but Siobhan had become acquainted with an artist at a shop in Grand Rapids, and he was like, "When are you gonna let me work on you?" And she's like, I already got somebody. And I come through and I'm hanging out, and I don't like, I introduced myself, and Siobhan has introduced me as Fawn, but she has learned through the hard way to not introduce me as Fawn the tattooer, because then that starts conversations that neither of us can get away from for the rest of the night. So now it's just
Fun. It's fun.
So we're hanging out, and we're about to leave, and the shop owner comes out, and he asks my name or asks who I am, and and he asks a little more, and it's like, oh, well, I'm a tattooer as well. And he's like, oh, where do you work? And I say Red Tree, and he instantly is like, Derb Morrison. Blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, Derb, you got haters all the way in Michigan. Look at you. Look at you.
Would I
Derb's
know,
like,
would I know these people?
yeah, I've told you about the shop.
What's it
Yeah,
start-
they have a chain.
what's
Yeah,
it
they're
start
like
with?
they're over.
S-
They're all over
is
Western. Michigan.
it is it SN? It's
No.
Nope. P P
P?
P P P P
PP?
P P P P
Paul's
Oh,
Pantry.
oh,
Oh,
PP.
oh.
P P.
Stainful measures.
There's lots of
I know that place. Yeah, those are both P words, but you know what I'm talking about. If you, that's really funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're all on the same page. But like it was one of those like, oh. Because
Oh.
you know, like as soon as I said where I worked, it was like the conversation just flipped, like, oh, but it was more one of those like scoff. You're a
Right.
real artist.
That's a very scofful.
I have to.
That's a
fix
very
your microphone.
scofful place.
It's driving me insane.
It is. It is.
Yeah, very.
You know, it's funny though because
Separate.
they're definitely they're one of those shops that Jordan's talking about where if you went in there and you had like an original piece that somebody had drawn and they're like, I want that. They would be like, okay, let me photocopy that. We can.
Right. Most of the artists that I used to see go through there and like their process, just like a couple other shops out there, would be it basically make them work as cheap as possible while also, you know, so all you could do is either apprentice people until they tattooed, and then they tattooed for a couple years at most to like 3 years until they realize, what the fuck am I doing here? I need to leave. Everything is terrible here. But because of that, everybody's getting art from those places from artists who have not learned yet or are not learning from people who should be teaching.
Right.
I don't want to say that for everybody because I'm sure there's always going to be gems that start at shitty shops. I started at shitty shops. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm a gem, but at the same
everybody's
time-
got to start somewhere. And there's a reason they work at those smaller shops is because they get to do entry level tattoos. They're in a clientele market where they can do script
Mhm.
all day and they can practice on lines and things that can be fixed and do traditional tattoos and work into kind of their own thing. I liked watching the artist growth, but not most people have the,
Well, when there's a
intention to do that. you
Yeah.
know? I'm with you. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
When-
no, I'm not disagreeing.
when
Yeah.
people are that artist and that's all they do is copy paste
Well, you
and
know,
print.
Me and Fawn talked about this at the time actually, and it's like, you know, because Fawn was like, you know, they're just doing little bangers off the wall and barely paying their bills, and it's like, you know, it's kind of like being a hairdresser. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody can go be at a hair show. You know what I mean? Like, you can't always run your own salon. You need those people that do those cookie cutter hairstyles. You know what I mean? You need the great clips of America, basically, right? Because that's going to make somebody happy, right? For somebody, that's a great tattoo. You know,
People
it's-
still get barbed wire. I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
I feel like the problem, like that's all, like hell yeah, definitely. There's always going to be that market, and there's always going to be that niche. What sucks is with like a shop that I was like that shop and like other shops like that I'm talking about is like the turnaround rate with artists is so much that they lose their reputation constantly. The only
Right.
reason they keep it afloat is because they get new people that are good for a minute and then leave,
Mhm.
or you know, are just bad until they leave. So really, they're just consistently giving people bad work and getting bad reputation, and then the artists end up leaving, and then they get a new person who's like, oh cool, yeah, new job,
Mhm.
and then they do that. But of course, you know, there's always going to be the gems there. And there's always going to be that niche market. It's just hopefully, you know, they're doing it in a way that's like bringing up the artist. Cool. Artist, hell yeah, do all those tattoos, but don't do it in a way where you're sucking the lifeblood out of these artists
Yeah.
until they want to quit. And then you get new people until
Right.
they realize, oh, we need to quit because we're getting drained.
Right. That's fair.
For the sanity of those artists, you know.
Right.
But there's always going to be a time and a place for like those quick, spontaneous day of tattoos. Like
Oh, yeah.
people are always going to be like, I want a tattoo today. This is because like it happens, like life events happen. People want to get things to commemorate it. People wake up and just, today's the day. Today's the day it's going to happen. Like there's always going to be a time and a place for little like trinket tattoos and things like that. Like there's always going to be a time and a place for the walk-in shop. Like the
Right.
walk-in shop is never going to be irrelevant. Like that, like even like I'm saving a whole piece of my body to continue collecting small pieces and continue like, you know, in case I'm traveling somewhere and I want to commemorate the trip. If I want to, you know what I mean? I want those trinket tattoos
I
still.
remember when I was unique because I made tattoo appointments. You planned? Yeah. Like, yeah, I see them every other Thursday. Why? Like, wait, you plan to go get, it's not just you go pick something from the wall. Like no.
Look, I will say,
Purpose driven.
as I guess a bystander of this industry, that I've enjoyed the most out of the last 5 years of growth in the tattoo industry
Yeah.
is the fact that I no longer have to hear the words, I got cash money, being yelled across the room at least twice a day anymore. When they invented the square, everyone was like, oh my God, drug dealers are going to take credit cards. I called Fawn instantly. It was like, oh my God, you got to get a square, bro.
I was like, I already got one.
I was like, look, so many things that are wrong with our Hangout situation can be fixed with one small device that plugs into your phone. Dude, I hate those times when people would be like, oh, I need it today. I need it today. And, you know, and every artist I've ever known, I'm busy. You know what I mean? Like I have a schedule I am keeping. I got cash money. Real recognizes real. I got cash money.
Real recognizes real.
You think I'm turning down your
shit.
tattoo because I'm broke?
Oh shit, you real.
Real recognize real.
You right. Come on back.
I guess
Realize,
I was
realize.
Come on back. That's all,
Right.
all you had to say.
God, he knew the fucking code, guys.
Right? We
Right.
don't turn, once they
It's
say that,
okay.
we don't turn them around.
Right. No, I mean, but dude, I mean, outside of just in general artwork getting better, or the realization of Pinterest with most people as a reference point, I mean, the scariest thing about these small shops with their frying out the workers and stuff like that is, one, it opens up like a situation for them to be unsafe. You know what I mean? Like you have random, 18-year-old people running through here who don't know what they're supposed to be doing, or know what they're supposed to be doing, or know what to look for, or know the proper way to be treated, or think that having some guy make her take her shirt off to get a small tattoo on her hip bone is totally normal. You know what I mean? Like, to me, those are when those shops become really sketchy.
I worked at a shop. This one's not PP. This one is WW out in Grand Rapids. But this studio, I seen it firsthand, and just how bad it was and how terribly managed was. It was this whole exact situation of just like bringing new artists up and starting people from apprenticeships, and the old artists that are there are so bad that it's the only shop that they can work at. And like, I did like some of them like as like coworkers and stuff like that, but like wouldn't really want to hang out with them. There was always something, every day there was like a black cloud around one of the artists, or something going on and stuff, and no one was happy with their job. No one was happy at the studio, where it was like, yes, I'm here to fucking make money. It's like, God damn, it's like I only made this much at the end of the day. One of the deals was if the shop, if they hear this, they're gonna know right away, but everyone knows how ridiculous it is. It was 5+ hours for $100. So $100, you get tattooed all day, 5 hours. 5 hours plus for $100.
Who would say okay to that?
And so like the shop, you could not, as an artist there, you could not charge anyone any more than that, or like whatever, that was how much you could make. And it was like, cool, if you work a 10-hour day, you can make $200 a day. And you had to give $50, and then you had to give half of that to the shop.
I can't work on $100 a day.
I can't, yeah. No fucking way. Not a fucking chance.
That's
Like,
and that's a
minimum
10-hour
wage.
day.
And these are like below minimum wage tattoo studios. I can't even imagine at this point. Like, if only like these people knew. So the only people that could work there are people that cannot get anything better, ruin the reputation, did something, you know, and the person that owns the place is just a shithead in general because you know, can't sustain a business properly without doing it this way. Or getting new people that just don't know yet. Like me, I just didn't know yet. And so what was happening is when I was brought on right away, I didn't know shit. I was like 19 years old. I didn't know about piercing. I thought if you tattooed, you probably pierced and you knew about that. So I came on and he's like, you're going to pierce too. If you're going to apprentice here, cool, you're going to learn how to pierce and you're going to pierce for us. A week into it, he's like, you're going to apprentice under this girl. A week into it, I was already piercing people and had to pierce people. And like, it was the worst. I hated piercing people, but I had to do it to keep up with my apprenticeship and keep learning and stuff. Started with easy ones. And then it just got to like, I was doing like noses and weird piercings and stuff, like nipples and stuff, a month into it. And like, to me, it seemed normal. And it seemed normal that I was so like, oh my God, I'm not comfortable. You know what I mean? Cause I'm like, I'm new to this, you know, but at the same time, it's like, no, you need to feel comfortable before you do these things. Like you need to do this enough before you even fucking do it enough, before you even do it. But, and so knowing how I felt and knowing how so many other people probably feel going through studios like that, like it's definitely not cool. I didn't make any money for so long.
We've all been in those poison environments.
Seeing people going through way worse in those shops too.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to leave and be like, oh, I know what I don't want. You know, learning what you don't want is such an important thing. When you're like, holy shit, I know I will never do as bad as this. So we're gonna move up now.
I guess up's the only way.
Right? I know better now.
Right. It kills me that you guys like as of like on the professional side of that though, you guys realize that. You know what I mean? Like I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to do this shit. But it's how many customers go into a tattoo shop and they don't like they feel that way, but they don't say anything. You know what I mean? Like they go in and they deal with an artist over and over and over again, but they're not comfortable. They don't like the way they're treated. They're you know what I mean? Like they like the tattoo, but everything else that goes with the tattoo.
I just think it's so important for people not to get tattooed out of like ease of a tattoo or like out of like, well, I'm here anyway, or like you know, and this guy's kind of an asshole, but you know, whatever, you know, I can't get in, you know, everyone else is booked up or something like that. It's like, man, never put yourself through being around an asshole like that, especially when they're like, unless they're a fucking super amazing tattoo artist, but more than not, it doesn't fucking happen because when like you're that good, you tend to be a little bit humble, and if you're not, you have a reputation for not being, and you kind of know what to expect, because there's not a whole lot of, I mean, there's assholes in our industry, but all the good tattoo artists I know are I've never met a tattoo artist who's been an asshole to me that was actually really good.
I'd be really disappointed if I met somebody I looked up to and they were just like
they might be busy, quiet, but never like
rude, right? Like blatantly.
They're like,
you know, right. I'm about to say the ones that I've always met, like, you know, random association or just going through tattoo shops that are rude, you know, like those egomaniac, like just like, I don't want you to work on me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even want to have a conversation with you. They're always like mid-grade. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have anything great in their portfolio. They have nothing to back that attitude or
like, like I'm the best in my shop of 3 and I've never met anyone else at any other tattoo shop. I
kind of have.
And nobody ever comes back to me for more than just one tattoo because I do such a job. It's like,
I kind of have the opposite. I've got some fucking amazing tattoos from someone that I wouldn't care to spend a moment with now. But I'm like, yeah, at least I got some cool fucking tattoos out
and
of
see,
it.
later you can forget about that. And you know, it doesn't, it definitely doesn't matter.
At the time, it was okay. It was before the relationship had developed to where it spoiled. But I've got some amazing tattoos, but I really don't want to be around.
I really do think though, like, and I don't mean to sound like men and women are a little different in this thing, where I feel like it's easier for a man to probably deal with a tattoo artist who can be uncomfortable or weird. Like, we don't want to deal with it, but I feel like for a female to sit there for 6 hours with someone who's uncomfortable can be way worse, because guys really can take advantage and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and like,
on the vulnerability front.
I really feel like it's a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I guess depending on exactly how you're seeing it, but I do feel like a guy would be able to, if a dude was just like being an asshole and stuff, like a dude's not gonna like come on to you all weird, and a female tattoo artist is probably not really either gonna be all like, they deal with enough attention from
Mhm.
people and shit. So like,
Yeah.
you know, when a guy, there's so many artists who get super weird with women, or even starting to get minorly flirty, and it's starting to feel awkward, and then that just keeps going, and you're 2 hours into a tattoo, and you don't want to flirt with this person, but you don't want to tick them off or something like that. And so the artist thinks you're just going with it or something like that, and they keep going farther, and it's getting more awkward, and you're getting those vibes. But it's like, they're a good artist, so I'll go back. It's like, I don't know, that stuff. That's like, that stuff can be weird, and I think it's good to follow red flags when you,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
You can-
No, it
Don't
kills me.
be afraid to walk away.
Right. Young people just don't realize that that's an option. You know what I mean? Like if you're halfway through a tattoo and he says something that's like just blatantly out of line, get up, leave.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like someone else will finish it for you. Like, is it really worth one putting your own self-worth in jeopardy for a stranger, for one,
Mhm.
and two, for something that someone else can do? You know what I mean? Like at
Well,
that point, if he's that artist, you can get it done by somebody else.
Especially now with the availability of tattoos. We live in Columbus,
Yeah.
fucking Ohio. I can name 15, 20 shops off the top of my head without even thinking of it.
There's
Like-
well over 100 registered shops in Franklin
Oh,
County.
I was just going off the ones that I could spit off at the top of my
Yeah.
head without stopping.
There are so many, we couldn't
Like,
list them off.
It would be ridiculous. So there's no reason to be mistreated. There was never a reason to be mistreated. There's less of a reason to be mistreated now because there's so many more options. There's not 5
Mhm.
studios in Columbus anymore, people.
Yep, you don't
Right.
have to settle for just because that's the way it is. That's not the way it is anymore. Like
Right.
it's not that rough, harsh. It's not. It's
Right.
tattooing. It's become so much more spiritual, you know. But as tattoos grow, you know what I mean. Like once we're talking whole body suits and things like that, like you get connected to your artist. You start bonding over the pain that you've gone through with that
Right.
person. You know what I mean? Like there's inevitably like. You know what I mean? You've had super long sessions with me where it blows, and if it was anybody else hurting you, you probably would have punched him in the mouth.
You know, it's just like an in general thing, I think, with like the new, like the younger generation under us, I guess, because we're all about the same age, is this need
Jordan's
for
young.
How old is Jordan?
He's youngin.
I'm 30.
He's youngin.
Or a baby. Oh man. But no, I mean,
You're a
like,
30.
baby.
You baby 30.
Never did I think I'd grow up to be 30 and be called a baby.
No, I think we all graduated in 03 though. Me, Siobhan, and Ben, right?
I graduated too.
02? Okay. So
I guess it makes it fair for me to call you guys old. So.
yeah, we're
I'll
old
take
compared to you. You're the
I'm usually
baby.
trying to be nice, but you guys are.
Yeah, we're all within it. Like that's why like Ben and I's music taste is so similar. And like we get nostalgic about the same bad music. Like, I remember
Do
when.
you want to go to a Skillet concert with me?
Yes.
If they own a copy of Deftones' White Pony, they're usually in like the 35 to 40 age range. Somewhere in there.
Oh,
Yep.
poor CD.
Oh, Deftones.
Oh,
We
White
have the
Pony.
same, like, why
Oh,
was
White
it so
Pony.
good then? Why was it so good then? You
It-
ever go
it
back and
wasn't.
listen to some shit like,
It was all new at the time.
why? What
People
happened?
weren't doing stuff like
It's
that.
off.
Did you
That's
just
They
fine.
drop?
weren't whining and crying in rock, you know, then.
Right.
Yeah, you know, that's,
Did you just
they
drop the
started
guitar,
the
or
like,
what happened?
They
You're-
started.
if we cry for like a minute straight and then do it again and again. I
Right,
love the Death. I love the Death tones. But nowadays it's harder for me to listen because I hear the whine so much.
They ushered out toxic masculinity. It's okay to cry when your girlfriend cheats on you.
Yeah.
Okay to be upset that you didn't get a puppy today. It's, you know, it's okay.
It's
Let it-
okay.
it's okay. Let it out.
Until it got
But-
real deep and they started talking about like my dad raped me in the shower and nobody wanted to be my friend, so I beat
Whoa.
everybody up.
This mosh pit
Whoa,
just got
whoa.
weird.
Oh,
Right. Look,
Huh?
Spicy.
What'd you take out your Jinko?
right. I'm done. We don't talk about those kind of things.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of these songs, especially from that era, that like once that trend of exposing trauma through music came out, it took this weird turn where like you started listening to lyrics, and you're like, what did you just?
Right? People are talking about like real
What?
feelings.
That's a little, huh?
That got heavy.
That's a little dark, man. I just wanted to kind of bang my head a little bit. But
Right.
okay.
That-
That's the
That's-
introduction of grunge for
Sodomy it
you.
is.
Stop talking about cocaine and partying and magic and dragons and went right to death. And
Death.
Kurt
Everybody
Cobain and
hates me.
teenagers smelling like
Oh,
spirit.
90s angst.
So
Oh.
much teen Seattle angst.
Oh, angsty we are.
The
Oh,
Seattle Depression took over the entire country.
No, that was heroin. Can we just be honest? It wasn't depression.
Fair.
That's exactly
It was
what
just
it
fucking
was.
black
That's
tar
exactly what it was. No, 100%.
Oh, I know.
it was also the kickoff to the
It's
opioid
so true.
crisis.
But they were mixed. They went so well together. Didn't they?
Mhm.
I'm sad, so I'm a junkie. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
That's
Misery
how I
Loves
saw
Company.
it. I don't know if that's how y'all saw it, but and then weed and
Chicken
hip hop came
chicken
out.
and the egg.
Weed and hip hop.
And when weed was allowed to be in hip hop, everybody went, "We can do this." And then weed songs got super crazy.
Once Andre 3000 and Big Boy hit the scene,
It was over.
boom.
How do we get
That's
on these?
that's where rap took off, not NWA
No.
or Tupac.
I'm just talking about in our life, like
Okay.
our like, oh, look at these weirdos. Like I can get down with this. And you know what? Like I wasn't really into like 90s rap. Like I kind of am into it now, but growing up I wasn't. It was really like when that Southern dirty rap got big, that's when it really started pulling my trigger. Yeah, I like the Southern dirty rap. Siobhan too.
Sam, you know what?
Mhm.
Right.
A
As soon as Kid
a
Rock
hook will
dropped, I
always
swear
get-
to God.
Look, I don't care if it's metal. I don't care if it's pop,
all night long.
rap. Right.
do.
I need a hook.
We
I
all
need a
love
hook. If there's a good hook, it's a good song.
That's
Am I-
funny.
Whether it's punk rock, it could be Social Distortion, it could be NXOFX or whatever you say.
NXPX.
Right.
There you
I
go.
feel like it took work to make, like real like mental work.
You
I
guys
tend to
practiced.
like it more. I might not love it and want to jam to it, but I tend to like it. But when I feel the lack of effort, that's where it's like, oh man. And then I get envious because I'm like, God damn it, why didn't I just put
I
a video
know
on
5
me and just
chords.
run around just saying the same 3 things with a beat around me?
Right.
Like,
Right.
What's wrong with DMX?
and then the next day you talk to someone and they're like, fucking yeah, this song is so fucking good. And you're like, I just spent 3 minutes in my car thinking to myself, how fucking stupid this is.
Yeah. Yeah. I know
Look,
3
every
chords. Why
fucking day.
am I not a millionaire?
Every day. But I'm also a little cynical sometimes when it comes to the radio. Because it's like, to me, it's like, this is what they put out there to show
Fair.
you to like, or not to show
Mhm.
you to like, but it's like, let's put this out there. 'cause
Here's
this is
what
people
everybody
like
else
these
already
days.
likes.
Right, so let's keep listening because you're gonna like this if they like it. And then you're
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, they must like it, I like it.
Fair.
Yep.
My favorite.
That's how marketing works.
But then
Right.
I'm like, this is what they do. Like, not what they do, but this is what they put out.
No,
My
I
favorite
mean,
is the record label produced bands.
I'm probably just cynical because
No,
some
like
of it's good, maybe.
you mean you just collected a bunch of people from across the states that happen to play similar styles to the music that you wrote off this computer that you based off of all these polls and popularity tests. And now we have super groups like Five Fruity Fingered Pepper. What's that band?
Five
they-
fingers, fruity pebbles.
Yeah, Five Fingered Fruity Pebbles. What is it? Five Finger Death Punch.
It's so
That's
funny.
it.
I heard an ad on one of the radio stations this morning because I don't have an MP3 player or anything right now. So radio stations it is on my way to work. And it was literally the world's best rock band, Five Finger Death Punch. And I'm just like,
Wow.
are you still coming to Columbus? And I'm like,
Your standards are low.
I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then they played some song after it. And I'm like, this is literally what like the world is for music right now.
Mhm.
Well,
Trash.
I mean,
Do you remember
I mean,
when
not
our
that,
parents
not
used
that
to
they're
say
the
we
worst.
listened
I'm
to
not gonna
trash?
dog on them being the worst band in the world, but
I
God
am.
damn, you're
Fuck
not the
them.
best
They're
goddamn band in the
horrible.
world. You are
Horrible.
so much farther down. It's like
You're
it's
so
like,
much further
it's
down.
like Creed going, we're the fucking best. We're fucking metal hard, man.
Bro, their arms are wide open.
you
We
can't
are
get any
meddling.
higher.
We meddle in all this shit. You can't get any higher, right?
Oh, we digress. We
What is it?
digress. What about people who have Creed tattoos?
I want to give them a hug
who?
in their eyes.
Have you ever seen a Creed tattoo? Ever?
Siobhan's had it out for
My
his Scott
inbox.
strap since before like Creed was over the hill.
If
Like
anybody
Siobhan,
listening has a
always
Creed
hated
tattoo,
Creed.
please send it to our Instagram.
we'd love
Look,
to see it.
I'll pay you.
want- I want to see like when Taylor Swift said, "Let Jesus take the wheel," I really feel like she was praying for Scott Strapp. Like, I feel like that.
Wait. If God's your co-pilot and Jesus took the wheel, doesn't that put you in the back seat?
He definitely cut his ponytail off at some point. That bird is not allowed to fly anymore. From what I heard. So, what a douchebag! Like, what a douchebag, dude! It's like Jim Morrison. I mean, people will go on and on about how great Jim Morrison is, right? Like, oh, he's a rock icon. Oh, he's like a rock god. And it's like, no, he was a chauvinistic pig, bro.
Yeah, he was very selfish, very chauvinistic, very in himself. I used to, when I was younger, I used to love him so much, and I still respect his music making. And I respect the fact he had his little journey in life and all that. But at the same time, when I was younger, I was like, oh, yeah, this person who like found themselves. And then like, as I got older, really listening to the music, really like understanding who he was. And like, it's not an okay life to live. Like, it's really not. Like, you know, you can do whatever you want with psychedelics and, you know, going through your spiritual journey. But the way that he treated the people.
But at the end of the day, his heart stopped at 27.
Right. It's that, yeah.
And
the way he treated so many of the people in his life.
Yeah.
So there is a line, is what you're saying.
There might be a line.
There's a line.
There's a limit.
All
I'm not sure where it is,
but he did unlock something with music, though. That's what I feel like some of the greatness of those kinds of people, though. They might not be the greatest person, but in the art that you did and the way you put yourself into that, so like fully like that, you unlock something more for the rest of the world.
It's a window. You're opening a window.
To take that even further, and like even when it comes to like understanding your own minds a little bit more. He was a purveyor in that, but at the same time, not a purveyor in morality.
This is the biggest part that people miss about Morrison now, is he was literally a product of his times, right? 5 years later or 5 years earlier, he would have never existed. It would have never happened. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like that with so many famous people, though.
Yeah.
Right.
They happen to hit that window.
Right. The stars aligned for him to become who he became. Right, because like I said, 5 years earlier, it would have never happened.
He was probably lucky to die at 27. Honestly, he probably would have got canceled the fuck out at some point.
Right,
in our day and age.
Right, like he would.
I'm just kidding. He's not lucky to die.
Right, he would have never made it out of karaoke today. Right, they would have done that. Leather pants. Scott Strapp already owns a pair. Like, get the fuck out of here.
You'd be like, half of us are on peyote right now. You'd be like, I'm on peyote, thinking it's a big deal.
Right.
But
we're all tripping.
It's not that big. I've seen bigger on Instagram. Like, no one cares, bro. You know, it's one of those crazy things how fads roll in and fads roll out, right? Like,
think about the fucking TikTok stars now. You put out fucking 48 seconds of content and now you're a millionaire? Suck it. You know, what is going on with this? Well, if you've got extra money, would you just send it to me instead of these fucks? Like, why are we making idiots famous? Can anyone help me out here?
Millennials.
It's the fact that it's your cell phone is literally what's getting these people famous. It's you scrolling through your cell phone. When you watch those reels and videos and you just keep going, and 2-3 hours later you're still watching videos, that's what got that famous.
Man, I thought that was depression. I'll have to let my therapist.
What?
She said, I thought it was just depression.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was
that too.
Episode, but apparently that's what I was supposed to be doing. I have to get my meds changed. You know, but it's funny because think about it. How much time do you really spend on your phone, right? Like, literally, like, whether because you have to or you don't have to. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I broke my phone a couple months ago, dropped it, it cracked in half because I have an iPhone. And dude, I went 2 days without a phone and like my whole world almost ended, right? Like I couldn't.
Right? I love that we can literally see exactly how much time we spend on our phone, because every time on an iPhone, every time you look at your phone, it logs screen time. So whenever your face is in front of your phone, it logs the time that it's in front of it.
Oh,
Right.
see,
Mine doesn't log any
phone
time
free
if it's just staring at the ceiling right now. Like I've got the app open, but it's looking at the ceiling. That doesn't count.
That might be screen time.
I bet it
That might be
is.
screen time.
That's why I like going backpacking and shit like that. It's a time to turn the phone off, put it away.
But
and
still,
pay
time that you're consciously on your phone.
paying
Still,
attention to something else.
it's still kind of a conscious effort. But at the same time, I wouldn't count this time.
I
It
wonder
doesn't
if the
matter.
phone counts it though. I wonder if that counts towards
Still phone
the screen time ticker.
I don't
Like,
know. I
it
think it
does.
might. I don't think it's like cool enough to know that it's your face. Just that mine turns on when I look at my face. And it's like screen time.
Fair.
Right. But the funny part is like me and Fawn were at a convention a couple years ago, and we were sitting there, we were talking, we're bullshitting, and we look around, and everybody else tattooing at the convention is on their phone, right? Like there's not one word being spoken between client and tattoo artist. Like the tattoo artist has like their tablet up and their headphones on, having a conversation with somebody else. The person's on their phone scrolling through TikTok or Instagram. One word being said between the two of them. And I just looked at her and was like, if you ever ignored me like that while you were tattooing on me, I would break it. I would.
Sometimes I think I think it's a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing, because the introvert in me loves it. The introvert in me, like as an artist or like as someone who doesn't want to like entertain people, I love it when I have like people waiting for me, or if like I'm tattooing them, or really any situation where like I'm entertaining, have to be entertaining or something like that, or don't want to entertain when someone else is in my presence. It's like, I'm so happy you have your phone to sit and entertain yourself, because I'm not
Go
feeling
distract
talking right
yourself.
now.
I have a few clients, they'll like bring their headphones with them, but usually I have very few that actually wear them. Like we usually keep pretty good conversation, and here we have the choice to put anything on the TV, if you're not into the music that's on.
I've gone both ways. I've gone to tattoo sessions where the artist wants to zone out and focus, and that's how they like to tattoo. It's not that they don't want to talk to you, it's that they want to pay attention to what the fuck they're doing.
It's fair.
And it's not that they're not your best friend. It's that, okay, hold on, I want to make sure this is perfect and this is where my attention is. So I've had those sessions with people that I've never been tattooed by someone that wasn't a friend. So I've had those sessions where it's like, I'm just going to put on my headphones so I don't feel the need to try to talk to you and stop you from getting in your zone. So if your artist is like Fawn, who carries a conversation as she's doing it, and it's almost more relaxing for her to do that, by all means, carry that conversation. But if you notice your artist is trying to focus or is, put his own headphones in, don't break their concentration.
Yeah,
They're trying to get in their zone and do their thing. So
I think it's a good
gauge
thing
that
to invest in those headphones. I'm not telling everyone to go out there, spend a bunch of money, and I need to get them. I do invest in them, but I love it when my clients have the headphones you can talk to, and you're not cut off. That's the thing that I don't like, is having to be like, hey, move every time I need someone to move their arm or something like that. It's not a big deal, honestly. Like I can deal with it, but at the same time, it's the clients that don't have that. I always forget, and I realize I can just still talk to you. And like you can hear it, you can tune everything out, but also you're still here with me.
Right.
And so I do enjoy that.
Yeah, I found a cool wearable speaker that I like to, like, if I'm like joining in on one of our live streams or anything like that, I've got the wearable speaker. So like I can hear music, I can hear the other stuff, but my client, like they're close enough with me that they can also hear. So like, for instance, if somebody else is in the room right now, it sounds like we're just talking to a wall. They can't hear the other person speaking to us. But if I put this wearable speaker on, it's like this JBL thing, then my client can hear and I can hear, and it cancels out some of the background stuff. But like creative solutions like that make it like better to like be connected. And I like being connected to my clients while I'm working on them. Like I think there's an energy exchange. I think there's a lot of communication that happens. I don't know. I think it all influences the experience in the tattoo
so much. And I think about like 4 sessions, you got to sleep with someone. They want to put their headphones on every time. Totally cool. But there's a big difference in the end. I feel like not in the end result of your tattoo, but in terms of the connection, like you're saying, where it's like 4 sessions of sitting there for 6 to however many hours you have to sit there completely cut off, not talking. When like there are some clients that like talk to a lot, get to know everything about this person and stuff. And I'm not saying like you should try to have that experience with me, because who knows, I might feel good that day, I might not. Some days I'm gonna be quiet, some days I'm gonna be talkative. It's totally dependent on my mind state that day. Never gonna be an asshole, but I might not want to talk about everything. But still, if you choose to cut yourself off every time, then that's what you're gonna get out of the experiences, that. But that's okay.
One of the cool things about
doing
doing what we do is our opportunity to meet as many people as we do and get to like intimately know as many people as we do. Like I know so many different like whole families and whole family dynamics, and like all of these like life lessons that I get to learn from my clients as well. And like at the same time, I can like celebrate with them when they meet like milestones in their lives, when their kids graduate, like things like that. I don't know. I think that connection just makes it more genuine, and it makes it, for me, it's necessary. And I think it makes the whole tattoo better and more like, there's all those like unspoken subtle things that go into the creative process. And I think the closer I am to my client, the more magic the end result is. I mean, I don't necessarily think that's a requirement, but for me, I like having that connection, and I like both of us being an open book because it makes it more tailored to the wearer, not me that way.
I feel that. Definitely. I
But
feel like
it
either
is
way, my
exhausting.
client's gonna get
Yeah, it's
like the
very
same piece,
draining,
but
like letting
Same piece,
people
but
fold
different
away
experience.
in.
different experience for
Yeah.
sure, and it's gonna be more positive for both. I mean, when you have a connection, when you talk to someone and stuff, it always tends to end up a little bit better than if we both sat next to each other in a room for 5 hours, didn't talk to each other at all, versus if maybe we're just in a waiting room and like I decided to start up conversation, got to know each other a little bit. We're able to talk through that 5 hours. That 5 hours can be a lot more enjoyable, and you get to know
Right.
someone and stuff, but it's also a little awkward and cut off to just not for that long.
Mhm.
But I don't know.
You almost start to feel jaded. Like, why am I not worth talking to? You'd rather ignore me the whole time than,
Right.
Now, if you're listening to your headphones because you have a low pain tolerance and you have a hard time maintaining a focus and dealing with the pain and things like that, it's understandable. Like I've got it, same as the artist.
Mhm.
If the artist needs to not talk and put on their headphone and zone out to maintain what their creative juice is flowing, then you need to put on your headphones to zone out and not sit there and twitch the whole time. I'm sure the majority of artists would rather have you shut the fuck up and sit there still than
Right.
be a wiggle
I
worm.
literally, right.
So there's
I literally
a
have
double-edged sword both ways.
right, I literally have zero, like I can talk about both sides of it, but I have zero problem with people putting their headphones on. Like I said, you are kind of negating like the rest of the experience, but like I'm not like driving for that experience. Like I want to normal human interaction that we're gonna have is gonna have that
So
experience.
Jordan's
you know
saying
what I
he
mean?
has enough friends and fuck you all.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like I'm not saying like, oh my God, I'm gonna fucking, that's this fucking person.
That's not
like,
your necessary intent with every single
right.
person
It's
you
like
meet, though,
I want to treat people equally and
Right.
be but super stoked. But at the same time, I'm not gonna be any less stoked if you have your headphones in. I'm stoked that you have a means of mitigating your pain. You know enough about yourself that that's gonna help you out. I like it when people have some sort of like, way to do things. Like this is gonna help me out a little bit.
I just
Sometimes when you
yell owl a lot and make you stop.
I've got this one client.
Ow, stop! No!
I've got this one client that
Get out.
watches his training
Get out.
videos while he's at our at appointments
We're
with
done.
me, so that instead of like having a
Not
day
you.
off and losing out on the money and working, he
Right.
like takes the day off from work and then he books it as training hours. So the whole day that I'm working on him, he's making full rate for watching training videos. I mean, he's literally doing it, and his boss told him like, you should do that. So he gets paid for me to work on him all day.
Talk about a hustle.
Yeah.
Right, but it's
I guess
conversation.
my work phone was ringing earlier.
Do what?
I say, but it's still a conversation you guys have. You know what I mean? Like with the pain or whatever. Like, hey,
I guess on this,
sit on down. Like, have a good time. Like, I'm going to be listening to this
Right.
because we're doing detail work today. If you need something, just let me know. You know what I mean? It's not like a wall has been placed there, right?
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people forget about that though, because a lot of people use their phones as a wall.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They have it as like their breaker from society.
That's
Right.
that's where I feel I get. It's so weird when people like you see the nervous habit in it with people where it's like it's
Yep.
almost like vaping. You ever like because I know because I used to do it. I realized when I did it and stuff. But like, and you see it in other people when you start doing it. It's like it's not you're nervous, but like as soon as something's anything, you're like. Or it's like, it's like something becomes a little bit more mental effort or something like that. You look at your phone or I don't want to think about this. I'm going to do this or I'm going to take a vape hit real big, but it becomes like a habit for
Right.
everything. And then the phone is
There.
My baby's mom enjoyed the experience through the lens more than being involved. the way her personality worked, it was easier for her to remove herself from the situation and experience through the screen via taking pictures or posting on the internet or whatever it was. That was her way of still being able to be involved in the group without having that social anxiety and that social angst. And it took me a long fucking time to get used to it, because I'm standing here looking at a waterfall like, man, this is amazing, and she's here.
Right.
But to me, it was rude. To her, that's how she could filter the experience to where she enjoyed it. And it really took a long time to see that attachment to the screen, for lack of a better term, to understand that's what's enjoyable and that's what's the break for you.
You know, that's actually
It's a weird
thing.
They actually just released it. It's basically it's a new mental condition, but they found that in people under the age of 30, they communicate not only more openly, but more truthfully with their real wants and needs through their phones, right? It's a real thing that is affecting human relationships at this, right? Like when you have a consultation with someone face to face and you don't get any information, but you read their email and it's detailed and it's precise and they know exactly what they want and they know when they want it. And the conversation is absolutely useless because the email is so detailed. It's a thing that's affecting younger generations, right?
Because
like
so many people have gotten used to not having to have a social interaction to have a conversation. Right. So used to not having to deal with people to get the results that they want out of people. It used to be when you wanted to hang out with your friend, you got on your bike, you rode down to their fucking house and you banged on their door. Now you send 6 little words through a screen and they answer you through the screen.
Confrontation gives everybody anxiety now.
Absolutely.
The slightest bit of confrontation.
And take that to a whole nother scale. The people with keyboard warriors and the fucking internet muscles that would never say that shit to your fucking face, but that are comfortable saying that to a screen because you take the human emotion out of it. So it's the same thing with that human connection. When you're with somebody, you feel their aura, you feel their vibe, you generally get to enjoy that camaraderie. Over the screen, you lose that energetic connection, and you break it down to fucking words.
I 100% agree. I do like a little bit what Siobhan's saying, though, for the fact of like, I feel like for some people, it is just too hard to communicate, you know, whether they get in that confrontation, like, oops, now they have anxiety, they don't mean to have it, so now they have it, and they have to deal with the life of it. Not, and I'm not even trying to preach to you.
Like, no, we're on the same page.
But
it's like, a socially trained condition.
Like, it's kind of thankful on those ends that you have a means to be able to do that, to be able to write out everything that you're thinking in a detailed way. But then there's the double-edged sword of so many other things that come from that. Oh, now I can write it out and now I can receive the validation from it. And now writing it out makes me receive validation in this way. And then you get a habit of, I put bad things out. People give me something good back because I'm talking about how I'm depressed online now. So now everyone's coming back, or like, but even communicate. I mean, that's one thing, but then communication between, even like people and partners or something, and being able to actually write out what you need and talk about what you need.
So if you didn't have
some people can't
that,
say what they want, some people just cannot say what they want. And I really, like Siobhan said, through tattooing, I realize that so much is how many clients cannot tell me what they want. I know they're going to come back after.
This goes back to one of my defaults when somebody's really hard to communicate with. Back to our earlier conversation is tell me what you hate. Tell me what kind of tattoos you do not like. And that sometimes is the easiest way to narrow it down to what they're thinking, is to work backwards. Like, tell me what you don't like. Okay, let's eliminate this style, and this style. Well, okay, tell me what you do and don't like about this. And then we just narrow it down. And sometimes that's the easiest way to communicate, is like, tell me what you don't like. Tell me your complaints about this. People are way easier to communicate when they're telling you about something they do not like, rather than putting into words what they do like.
I do feel like that's, sorry.
It's one of those things. It's like, if we weren't grown up with that screen, or haven't always expressed ourselves through that way, would we still be as socially inept to? So if you're forced into the conversation every day, is it still going to be hard to have the conversation? If you have to swim across the lake every day, is it going to be hard to swim across the lake in 5 years? No, it's going to be daily routine. If you run 5 miles every day, 5 miles ain't shit. If you tell me to run 5 miles right now, fuck that. So is it the same with the social awkwardness and this acceptance of using that screen as a medium? If you were forced into these tough conversations and forced into that conversation, your confrontation, your entire life, would you still feel the need and still have that social awkwardness to then project through the screen.
Well, just to like put Siobhan on the spot a little bit, I don't know if you noticed, but she's a little bit funny. Like she's got a knack for making people laugh. In like this situation, we've got the screen to go between us. But if it was just us bantering in front of a room full of people and she was on stage with a mic, she'd be like, fun. Bring up a story.
Right.
The situation.
Too, like when I have to communicate like writtenly or virtually or electronically, it is the most simplest direct way is how I'm going to, you know what I mean? It's not going to be a paragraph, it's going to be a sentence.
Right.
That, well, I kind of feel like today maybe we should take it slow, maybe we'll do this. I'm not doing that. It's one sentence, like done, same. Like that's the breakdown of this conversation. Like it's quick, simple. It's not a conversation, it's a statement of fact. Right.
It's not a conversation. It's a text message.
Right.
It's not
Exactly.
a text conversation. It's a text point.
Right. If we're talking though, I have no problem bullshitting all day with anybody about anything. You know what I mean? Like I'm not uncomfortable with confrontation. I'm not uncomfortable with topics. And if I don't want to talk about it, I'm going to tell you to change the subject. Right. And what kills me is when you try to have a conversation with someone and you can tell they're visibly uncomfortable and they still try to engage in the conversation instead of saying, no, I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like,
I love pushing people through
right.
conversations. I love it. Let's get uncomfortable. Let's get fucking weird. Let's talk about some shit you haven't talked to anybody but your therapist about.
Right, but that falls back to self-care or self-awareness. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't
know what you don't like, when someone's talking to you, when someone's talking to you and you're not vibing with that, know how to say, hey, I'm not vibing with that, or not talk about it anymore, as opposed to being like, yeah, you're right, I guess.
I do have a creepy uncle.
Right. Anything like,
And it's a big point with females, but it's also a bigger point with just younger people in general now. You know what I mean? Like if you don't tell me it's a problem, it's not a problem, right? Like when I started working, bro, and yeah, I'm old. Sexual harassment had really just come to the forefront. You know what I mean? Like that you can't talk to me like that. I ain't okay with that bullshit. You know what I mean? Like that had just like, dude, court cases were just starting to be won about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was taught in orientation when I started working. I was a bartender for years. 20 years I bartended and ran bars. And sexual harassment was, if you don't tell them to stop, it's not an issue. You know what I mean? Like you have to put the line down before you can stand, right? Yep. Like you're going to get back into a corner, you better put it down before you get put back in the corner, right? Yep. And now one word and it's sexual harassment. You know what I mean? Like people don't have to say stop for a problem. Someone else can say you can't talk to them like that, and now it's a problem. And dude, in any industry that you work in, that shouldn't have to be the standard, right? Like you should be able to communicate with me as an adult and tell me what you want, what you don't want, what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. And people don't do that anymore, right? Like if you guys only did consultations face to face, would you still get the input that you need that you wouldn't get from the emails? Would people have an idea of what they want if they didn't have Pinterest or Google to go to for reference photos?
I think it kind of depends on the style of work. Because Jordan's been crushing it lately. Like, I don't know if I've told you, but you've been crushing it lately. I mean, he's been doing a lot of his consultations through video, but he's doing a lot more like I don't want to say tribal, but like Polynesian is tribal. So he's doing like intricate tribal work, like almost like tribal, but digital, mechy kind of stuff. But I can see how I want to find the right
like
word.
Sometimes less input is more.
Yeah. Like
if an overwritten email might confuse me, is kind of what I was about to say. I feel like you might be running on that same.
Yeah.
track a little bit.
Yeah, because like your work it's basically these simple ideas that you're just making very bold and very crisp and very clean. So you basically just need to know like the body part, the general style they're going for, and then the flow. And then from there, just let you get carried away with it. You know what I mean?
'Cause I have a couple, I
Where
got
my
a
stuff's a
couple.
lot more like story oriented and
So telling the story and having the elements and, bringing in multiple elements and discussing with them and having well thought out ideas and plans and, main elements, secondary elements, things
Mhm.
like that. Lots of stuff to talk about. Well thought out email is probably going to do so much for you for that.
Mhm.
For me, I love a well thought out email, but I do got a couple control freak clients. They're good people. They're great clients, but kind of control-y a little bit.
Mhm.
But they're always like trying to like let go a bit because I always have to tell them like, they'll write a really well thought out, really, really overly well thought out email. They'll have pictures drawn. They'll have like they'll have 30 references and then like sketches on a body of how things need to move and stuff. And I always have to break it down to them like, I see some of the things that you have here. I see your flow and I see like, I like what you got going on and I can work with that. But, I do need you to kind of, usually a talk about trust
Mhm.
is usually what that leads into. And I talk about, where there's going to have to be an area, I like to know what you like and what you don't like, but there's going to be a level of, you letting go of what you want and me doing what I want. And not that my ideas are going to be any different than what it is you want, but things might look totally different than what you're showing me, but what you're showing me is going to directly influence everything that I am doing. So I appreciate the input, but also I don't know how. I don't know how to draw something when someone like tries to draw it all out for me. And it's like, here, I see you do this circuit boardy type pattern. Let me draw a bunch of circuit boardy shit. And then, you can do it like this. Like,
Or what
and then
about
it's
when
like- and
somebody's
it's like,
like,
it's like,
hey,
like,
I'm going to pay somebody
It's
else
not
to
how
draw
I do
this
these
tattoo.
things.
How can I schedule you to tattoo it? And have you had that happen? Where they're like, oh, I'm paying my buddy to design a tattoo for me, but I want you to do it. It's like, well, you understand that like if you want my work, you should get my work.
But you know what? The funny part is
yeah,
you say,
definitely had those.
and that brings us back to those flash shops, though. You know what I mean? Like that's what they do. Your friend drew it, bring it in. I have no problems photocopying it and putting it right on your arm exactly how they drew it.
Fair.
Like
Always a
that's-
time and a place.
right. That's that shop. That's why those shops stay in business, right?
That's fair.
Right. If you want to pull it off Pinterest, cool. Let's go get it. Your boyfriend drew that in jail on an envelope for you. Cool. Problems
It's
with
just
it.
funny when it's like, the designing is like part of the tattoo. Like you don't get charged more for me to design it. Like that's just the first step. In
You also don't get
the-
charged less for me not to.
Fair. Maybe I should charge
There's a lot of
more
that.
if somebody
That's a
else
big
has
attitude.
input.
Right. I just, and the crazy part is too, is like, cause I know this from going from low end to high end, or, the people I've met just in random adventures through my life. But, what you guys do is art. You know what I mean? Like it's one of a kind, it's custom, it's usually drawn on the body, it's drawn for the person. It's, you know what I mean? Hours of talking or emailing, it's back and forth. Right. And that's that relationship though.
Mhm.
I mean, like if you didn't have that, like, and I deal with, cause I do HR work for a healthcare company. Right. So I do, in-home, healthcare, CLS work, stuff like that for special needs children all day long. Right. And these kids can text their workers all day and communicate their feelings or what they want to do. And it builds their relationship. It really does. Because they can't, like they are either nonverbal or they're autistic and they stutter or they're sensitive to, someone in their presence. But thanks to technology, they can communicate and they can get their wants and needs met. I guess my biggest thing is, when did that become the norm? You know what I mean? Like when did
Ooh.
the standard, right? Like everybody has special
When
needs.
phones came out with keyboards.
Right. That's pretty much it. I mean, I guess my biggest thing is like for me personally, tattoos are supposed to be for you. Tattoos are supposed to be your art. They're supposed to be for your body. They're supposed to be for your story. You know what I mean? Whether it's flash or whatever. If anyone who knows me knows I want heavy lines, right? Like I'm a big girl. I want something that's going to stand out. So, instead of doing just a simple outline, I want a hard, heavy line. And I know to communicate that to whoever's working on me. You know what I mean? Like when in doubt, go over it again, right? Like I'm never upset. Right. But at the same time, I know that about myself. I know to tell you that. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people aren't getting tattoo work that they want, or they're not living the life that they want because they just fail at communicating, right?
Very
Like
true.
when did the standard for everyone become a special needs standard? You know what I mean? Like, why do we make so many special, exceptions for people that we wouldn't make normally? You know what I mean? Like, when did it become okay for you to text me, you're going to be late? Like, you're a client. If we're not friends, then why are you texting me? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if we're, if this
Sometimes
is a
faulty systems on the artist part, I feel like.
right, like, and I
Why does
totally
this client have your phone number?
Boom.
right phone number. Why is it when I go out to drink with my friends, I keep running into you? Like, why are you at my spot right now?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why are you coming to my side of town when I know for a fact from your credit card statement you live on the other side of fucking town? But when you ask them, it's, oh no, it's a coincidence. Like, if you want to hang out, bro, just ask. Like, you're making this
Right.
shit really weird right now, and I'm gonna have to be an asshole about this because special exceptions stop when I feel unsafe, and you're really freaking me out right now,
Yep.
right? And then the relationship goes bad, and then you're the asshole, right? Because you had to put your foot down and be the bad guy, but you're not being the bad guy. You're respecting your personal boundaries,
Well, that's the
right?
thing. So many people don't understand what boundaries are for. They're not for you to feel uncomfortable. They're for me to feel comfortable. And it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's that this is how I have to live my life in order to get what I need
Right.
out of my day.
And boundaries, a lot of people think they're a result of a weakness. Boundaries are a result of strength. Creating
Right.
boundaries takes work. Creating boundaries takes mental effort. It's not something that it's like, oh, I have these boundaries, woe is me. It's, no, I've created boundaries because this is how I adapt and get through life.
I've been hurt so many fucking times. I will
When you
never
don't have
allow these
boundaries, you get
circumstances to
hurt.
happen again.
I drew a line in the sand.
Right.
Respect it.
But there's balance,
The line
and just
has
like
been
alcohol,
drawn.
there's moderation. You don't need to have a boundary around everything and know where to have what to put a boundary around.
Calm
Right.
down, Nancy. Wait, Karen. I'm going to
Because
say
sometimes
Karen.
boundaries are super annoying.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's good to have
I'll
them.
be a freak.
Right. They're self-care though. You know what I mean? Like, that's what keeps you safe. That's what keeps you an adult. That's what keeps you functioning, right? And it just kills me how many people don't have those, right? Like, how many people don't have that self-care integrated into their personality where they can keep a boundary or they can keep a line in the sand. You know what I mean? When it comes to the way a tattoo artist treats them, or the way family treats them, or, a loved one treats them, or the level of intimacy they receive from someone, or a level of respect, that's a greater issue. And I think it's something that needs to really be addressed in any line of work. Whether it's bartending or waiting on someone or just customer service in general. If you have your issues with your boundaries, that doesn't mean I have problems with my boundaries at all. Right? Just because you need to communicate like this, I respect you enough to let you communicate like this, but that's not the standard, right? Like, I need you to acknowledge that I have made an exception for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not my obligation to give.
That's a good one. Like, it's always awkward when somebody's like, will you just make an exception for me? And it's like, well, I've already been making an exception for you all along.
No.
That's always an awkward thing when it's like, I'm already giving you more and you're asking for more.
Right.
That's always an awkward thing when, like,
It seems unfair for everybody.
It is.
yeah, it is. And then,
Who's this not unfair to? Besides you.
yeah. Yep.
Right. This is not a working relationship anymore. Like, this is no longer profitable for me because we have entered gray territory. So, you know what I mean? Like, and then people take that shit really personal, and it's like, no, it's called being an adult. It's called,
Yep.
right?
And when you don't have boundaries, though, people don't know how to step around you. They don't know how to talk to you. People will do the things that hurt you because they just don't know and you haven't communicated. So, that's the part of not having them or not communicating them.
A lot of people don't realize that you teach people how to treat you. So by not setting these boundaries and allowing these exceptions and allowing these people to influence what you know to be, you're just creating situations where you're going to be unhappy. So, like, if you, I don't know where I'm going with that, but like it's a really weird
Set boundaries. Like
It's-
as
it's a-
artists, we
Right.
need to do
There's
it.
something
But
as
as
human beings.
as
Something's gonna come
collectors,
up, so,
you know, it's one of those things, like as a collector, like we all have boundaries, and when we're getting tattooed, those boundaries are already stretched.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Quit
It's
asking your
already
friends to work on a
uncomfortable.
day off.
Right. I like the concept of knowing what you hate. It's just as important to know what you like. It's like both sides. A lot of people know what they hate more than what they like. A lot of people know what they like more than what they hate. It's good to know both. It's good to know what you like and all that. But I lost my train of thought.
Siobhan,
It was going somewhere good.
Have you
though.
been into
We haven't
any?
smoked in a while.
Have you
Too
been
fucking sober.
to? When's the last tattoo convention you've been to?
I think the last one I went to was
Detroit a couple years ago, a few years ago.
Right.
I went to a small shitty one in Grand Rapids. I can't remember which one. But it was with that artist I had made some weird connection with. I'm ashamed to even admit that out loud.
It's okay. We didn't say their name or the shop.
Right. But I went to what, I can't remember the name of it. It was at Van Andel though. It was one of the smaller ones, right?
Mhm.
And it was horrible. It was
Will you
atrocious.
switch that to HDMI 1. Did they have pipe and drape?
They did not. They did not.
They did not have pipe and drape. The one we went to in Tampa just recently was like that.
It was kind of like that. You know what I mean? Like it was separated. It had a nice distance between booths. But when they put the distance in there, instead of breaking the booths up, what it did is it made like traffic jams. Like people thought you could walk through there.
Mhm. That's how
it
it was in Tampa. It was a nightmare.
Right. It was very confusing, but it was very and I say this as just me personally, I thought it was very unsanitary. You know what I mean? Like it was just like a lot of touching of shit that I just didn't feel needed to be touched.
Yeah. So I'm showing footage from Friday at Cleveland last weekend. So this was early in the day Friday. So I was just kind of getting a lay of the land. But our last week's episode, we recanted the nightmare that I was telling you about from Tampa.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so glad I flew down. If I would have driven and then had to deal with that nightmare, it would have been even worse. It would have been like insult to injury. But this was actually a really nice show. I think Troy was saying on Saturday there were over 5,000 people. So I don't know what the whole count was for the whole weekend, but that was like the estimate.
Nice.
So I think conventions are definitely back after all this COVID business. There's Troy. This is the guy that runs the show right there. He's adding new ornaments to his little scooter.
Nice.
He got some kind of horns to put on it. It's great.
Nice.
I feel like I was rushing this video a little bit, moving a little quick. Sorry, guys. Oh, Ben's making me do a dab.
Making you do nothing.
You know, my favorite part of a really well-planned convention is it goes back to the pipe and drape, but I like when you can tell it's a professional convention because of the layout. You know what I mean? Like they make you actually have to walk the entire circuit and not just, like down the middle lane and kind of catch a view of everything that's going on, right? You have to actually go explore and go looking for stuff. It's really nice, right? It's kind of like the difference between going to like the mall and going to a flea market, right?
Yeah,
Like,
That's so funny. We kept
I
comparing
really
it
feel
to a
like it's
flea
a
market
basic
the whole time.
fundamental standard of conventions.
Of
And
decent show.
when you can't have pipe and drape, you haven't even earned your ticket into the convention yet if you don't
Hold
have
on.
pipe and drape.
I feel like, so this is Cleveland. This is nice. So let me,
For those of you that don't know what pipe and drape is, it is literally the curtains behind all the
like
booths
the booth
that make it
dividers.
the booths.
Not one
Yeah.
artist could put a banner up for themselves.
The cubicle is
Who the fuck are you? Who am I? Like if I'm there, like it doesn't. Who are you? Right? Like who wants to like? Oh, I don't know.
You could literally be like those kids that come with their parents,
Look at
though.
this guy.
No one recognizes people's faces like when it comes to tattooing. They recognize names and familiar imagery.
Hey guys, if I ever just walk around the tattoo convention with my shirt off, would you please kindly tell me to put it on?
If you look like this guy, I will say take it all off. You can do just the little fanny pack. I'll allow it.
What do you think the dollar amount?
Look at him.
What do you think the dollar amount is that is your, or maybe I shouldn't put it in dollar amount, the coverage to where coverage percentage to where it's cool enough or where it's okay for you to start walking around naked?
I mean, this guy's there.
5%.
I've
Like,
got more
let's say you have a
tattoos than him.
sleeve.
I'm good.
Like,
then.
let's say you got a sleeve, but you're walking around naked, just about.
No,
Shirt off,
No.
but you got a
no.
sleeve.
That guy with
I'd let
the
it happen just because I'll let you roll how you like to roll. But
I do it because
I
I
don't
like,
think you earned
I'm
it.
okay with laughing at you.
the guy with the Dragon Ball Z sleeve that was at her back piece that was a minute and a half or so ago. Last year he was walking around, his back was fresh, it was brand new. This year he was walking around top off, super proud, but he's starting to get the front of his torso done. So I think he only shows his work off when he's at conventions. So I think those people, like, if that's the only time you get to show it off, be proud. This is
Right.
this is the place where, like, if you want to be as naked as a jaybird with the exception of a little sticker, fine, whatever.
Yeah, honestly,
We're
as
celebrating
covered
it
as
at
I am
expos
at
like
this
this.
point, like I'll probably have I'd be okay with taking my shirt off at a convention, but at the same time, I would feel really weird about it. I do it because I want to show off my back piece really bad, and not for me, for Guy. Like I
Right.
want to like literally like look at this fucking Guy piece, and like I don't ever get the chance to do that. But I feel entirely completely weird having my shirt off in a place
Derb and
full
I
of
were
people with their
joking
shirts on.
around about like fully white trash in our booth
don't
up
like
in
attention.
Tampa and taking our shirts off and tattooing Brian and Jen topless, but we didn't. We kept our clothes on. Did you see
Aw.
Derb wearing the little half apron? It's the new mankini.
No, I did
Ooh.
not.
It was hilarious. It's got to be back on
I-
his feed somewhere.
I'm the guy that puts on long pants and a long sleeve shirt to go to the convention because I'm not. I'm like,
Same.
I want to shrink into the grave.
Same.
I don't want somebody to try to book an appointment.
Next time I'm going to
It's
mindfully,
annoying.
Yeah,
It's
right.
annoying as fuck.
I'm going to mindfully make these videos just a little bit more slowly. I try to just kind of go with the crowd and not get in the way, but I feel like I was walking a little too fast this whole time.
It's okay. I just want to vomit. No, I'm just
I'm-
kidding.
I'm sorry.
I'm kidding. It was a-
This is JTS glass.
I think you need a gimbal.
I mean, this camera is pretty good. I think I was just moving too fast. But
I just see little shake hiccups. I'm not gonna say critique.
Mm.
Sorry.
I am. Fine. Let's talk about this.
I think it's going to be smoother when it's actually airing out. We're only monitoring it back on this video. But like the actual feed, if you look here, it's nice and silky.
Fawn was like,
Oh
"Ooh,
yeah,
a
no,
booty."
for sure. It's very silky in the picture. So she's not lying to you.
There was a lot of really, really nice work at Cleveland. I can't believe how many artists were there. This is a really, really big show. Like it took, Finn walked with me and we handed out some true, the pink true tattoo tape. We walked around and handed that out in the little ink cartridge tray, not the cartridge tray, but the little ink cap tray. And it took us probably 2 hours to get through all the booths. It like
Wow.
took forever. It was, I'm usually pretty quick about that stuff, but
Mhm.
like, I think it was literally twice as big as Hell City. Like it was big and it was
Wow.
filled with a lot of great artists.
Very cool.
Yeah, but the Ohio scene is huge. There was such a good show up and turnout. A lot of people that are close to like our studio, like that hang out. Amber Joy, she won an award. I think one of the best of days. And I think Jeremy Brown won an award. Again, I think it was like one of them won Saturday, one of them won Sunday. Keith Miller, one of our artists, Cam, he won an award for his black and gray piece with a colored rose. So like
Nice.
a lot of homies took some awards. I think Austin won multiple awards.
Nice.
Austin Yancey, Bumblebee Tattoo. So a lot of homies just kind of swept. Oh, Rusty won an award for his oil or his acrylic painting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was like all of our homies kicked butt all weekend.
Like that. Go everybody.
I mean, not that, oh, this guy, look at this guy's setup as he was working. I don't know if I got a good video of his setup or not. it might be the next time I come around. But he had a camera directly over him while he was working, and then he had a TV turned sideways just above him.
I saw that. I actually thought it was
see?
older,
Look.
but I see it now. I see his
Mhm.
hand.
What a cool idea to present like what you're working on, like if a crowd gathers.
That's a great
Right.
idea.
Yeah.
Some old guy that wants to lay over your shoulder, right? What are you doing?
Yep. I mean, I can do it with my, you guys can't see it, but I've got another PC on the desk up here as like a backup.
He's just got it connected to the GoPro as a, yeah. So I'm pretty sure, 90% sure it's GoPro.
It might have been. I can't remember for sure what the camera was, but it was just like a nice quality ring
Right
light.
there.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
little square.
Nice.
Oh,
Good choices, sir. Good
there's
choices.
Brian, Jess. Brian's one of those people that like, man, I wish I had more in common with him because I just want to be around him all the
Right,
time.
right.
He's like one of my favorite people, but you gotta like, it's like when we have tattoo events, other than that, he's a ghost.
Yeah.
He's working, he stays busy.
So when it comes to a convention, right? Because we're talking about like personal boundaries and stuff like that, right? And just coming off of that campus show, what's one thing zero tolerance at a convention? Like
Touching. Don't touch me if you didn't ask.
Mm-hmm.
If my skin is out, do not touch me if you did not ask.
Do not come behind the booth.
That's a good one.
I'm
What's
gonna
up,
be
guys?
honest.
I'm listening in. I have a really important no-no.
Share it.
If you have ever molested a child, do not show up at a tattoo convention.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I feel like
That's
that's fair.
dark as shit.
There's absolutely, yeah, I've actually
That's
heard of that
common.
happening where the guy got found out on like a Saturday and it started a huge fight and he got booted out, of course.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's horrible because I know a lot of people in the tattoo industry who bring their kids to this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like it's like family time, basically. You know,
Yeah, we call it family reunion all the time.
right. That's
Damn, Nathan.
actually
Speaking
yeah.
of family,
Yep, that's Nathan Marty that we were talking about earlier. Rusty was there as well. So when I was being tattooed at Hell City, when Adam and Ty were both working on me, there was definitely a crowd around watching them. And you know, I when I'm getting tattooed, I'm fully with it. I'm fully in the moment. I might have my eyes closed. I might look like I'm spaced out, but I'm not. You know, when I'm getting tattooed in a setting like that, I have to swallow my modesty and like, you know, I am a modest person, but I swallow it for the sake of like how much I love my tattoos and how much I love sharing them with other people. But I do definitely remember like people would walk up and they'd say things, and if it was inappropriate, like without hesitation, somebody in the crowd would be like, keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things where like, at least at the circuit of conventions that I'm familiar with, it's not tolerated. You know, I got tattooed, like my whole butt cheeks, lower back, all of that got tattooed at Tattoo the Lou. And Russ set me up in such a way that like, he's the only one that could like see my butt crack, basically. Like if you walked up, you could see either side of me, but like he helped me to be very modest. You know what I mean? Like, there was definitely some like stuff that I didn't like class wise. It just wasn't the classiest things that were going on at that convention. Nothing like crazy train wreck like Tampa, but like there, you know, like some of the acts were just a little bit, I don't know, crass. That's a good word. Very crass for my taste. And that kind of crowd isn't somebody, that's not the crowd that I'm necessarily comfortable like bearing it all. So I was thankful that Russ was mindful in the way he had everything set up, and he had another screen next to him where he had a camera on him as well, so you could see what he wanted you to see.
right?
So like
The magician's trick: focus their attention so you can do what you want where they're not.
yeah,
looking.
yep. So I'm not saying it's necessarily like a rule or anything like that, but like generally, I think a tattoo convention needs to be a place of safety, just the way that our shops are a place of safety. You know, we're being vulnerable while we're having this stuff happen to us. And the last thing we need is to be victimized in that way while we're being worked on in such a vulnerable position to begin with.
Yeah.
So I think where the community is now, I think those rules of do's and don'ts, I think those are just ethics. I think ethics has a lot stronger value in our community than it did 10 years ago. Like
Yeah.
ethics and morals are now important in tattooing. And if you're acting like a scuzz bucket, you're not going to be welcome at these shows.
Right.
Like word gets around. Like, believe it or not, when artists like have police reports pop up that they and their, you know, battered their wife or assault or these things pop up. You know, if somebody says something inappropriate to another tattooer they're working on, and that tattooer then tells other tattooers,
Right.
like your social media might not be any different, but those of us that know,
Word
know what I
doesn't
mean?
travel any faster than somewhere than at a tattoo convention.
Yeah, like we really look out for one
Right.
another. You
No
know what I
fucking
mean?
kidding. Yeah,
We've
no kidding at
we've all worked so hard to earn our stripes and like better this community and better ourselves. So I feel like collectively as a community, those of us that matter, we just don't tolerate the scuzz buckets being around. So any of that kind of energy, period, just isn't tolerated at a classy convention.
You know, I love the fact that that's a thing now. You know what I mean? Like 10 years ago, that girl who was getting her chest piece worked on, they would have been like, take your shirt off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it wouldn't have been, oh, you can wear your shirt, just unbutton it. It would have been like, take it off.
You're gonna need to take your pants off too while we're at it.
Right. You know,
Why?
because I
Why
told you.
gotta take them off.
Right,
Well,
'cause I
you don't want to drop ink on them.
I wouldn't want to mess them pretty pants up.
Right.
Might as
You
well
know-
take them silkies off too. You know, they don't hold ink very well.
Oh, geez.
It's not
But
fun.
you know that's
Now
real
look
life.
me in the eye.
It's
Hey,
real.
you're too creepy sometimes.
I'm sorry, I'm good
You're
at it.
too creepy.
I don't mean it.
Okay, I know you're kidding. I'll
It's a
allow it.
joke.
I'll
Eric-
allow it.
Over here from that voice, bro. It was horrible. It was like the King Kniff voice. It just gave me like this pervert chills. Like, bleh.
He's been practicing.
I've had a lot of practice.
But you know, I do enjoy the fact that, you know, society as a whole has come a long ways with like just respect of people's persons or comfort. But I really enjoy, you know, from where tattooing was at when we first started going to conventions and shows to where it is now. And this is just as like a bystander. This is not someone who works in the community, is lightly fringe to the community. It's a huge difference. You know, the stripper who's a tattoo model on the weekends, you know,
we call them exotic dancers around here, Chiffon.
well, we call them fucking whores where I'm from.
Oh man, we went there. We went all the way there. I knew it was gonna happen. I knew
Right.
we were
Look,
gonna get there.
One tattoo and you call yourself a tattoo model, I want you to call me so we can have a conversation.
Look at this back piece. This is Jersey. I don't know if you know who he is, but Jersey's a pretty prolific tattooer. This is a piece that he was working on all weekend. This guy was really struggling. I stopped the video and like gave him some words of encouragement. And then I was like, no, really, I'm not making fun. I'm not like really just concentrate on the breathing. Like I gave him some, I don't know.
Hit this, son.
Yeah, some I don't know.
Vaughn, here's an edible. I'll be back in 20.
Yeah, if I could have just given strangers edibles, I would have. But I did give him some words of encouragement before I moved on. Let him know that he was going to live. It doesn't feel like it, but he will. Keep breathing.
Man,
That guy's like, who is this fucking chick talking to my client?
No.
I'm kidding.
He I don't know that he knows me by name, but he at least recognizes me through like the Red Tree True Tubes community. So then I showed them my back piece and he was like, oh, okay, you do know. Yeah,
done
man,
that.
stay strong. Stay
Look,
strong. It's worth it.
talked about perverts. I'm about to say, you should have just showed them your nipples. I mean, ever
Ow.
that like camp through that, bro. Like for real.
To be fair, there are other people with way more tattooed nipples than mine. They're just kind of camouflaged in.
Just looking at them makes my whole chest cavity hurt. I can't even lie about it.
I believe the expression is hard no.
Hard no. Hard no.
Hard no.
Right.
Oh, there's
Broke up.
Bobby. He's talking to Derb all the time. This is Keith. This is a Black Widow he was working on.
Oh my God. I thought you were going to say Keith is part black. I'm so glad you followed that up with Widow. I'm about to say, Fawn, when did you become so racist? What happened to you in Ohio?
No, he's working on a Black Widow.
Acknowledge it's not okay to make fun. There's a big difference.
I don't know. I think that depends on which group you're in.
Nah, I think it depends on your viewpoint.
That's true.
Intention.
He's so talented. He's part of our team. His room is right next to mine, and some of the stuff he does and pulls off just blows my mind. He hasn't been tattooing for very long in the grand scheme of things.
I'd let him tattoo my face.
The whole thing?
The
whole thing. I'm gonna hold you to that, Ben.
I'm gonna make him do a collaboration with Brandon and do half black and gray on one side and half full color realism on the other. Whole face.
And I've got a whole bunch of Captain and Maybell on here. I love them. You've watched them before, haven't you?
No. Unfortunately, the few times that they have been at shows that I have been at, I've either been obligated to be in another area, or that is my I've got 10 minutes to break away from the stage. I have missed their show.
They're delightful. They're delightfully disgusting. But when they're not performing, they are just the greatest people. I really enjoy them. I enjoy them as performers. I love watching them at all the different tattoo shows. But as people, they're awesome. Chris Taylor, his show in Indy, I believe he emceed it last year, and I believe he's emceeing it again this year. And he's a fantastic MC.
I want to make sure I make it to Indy. I wasn't able to go this time.
So I've got some cool suspension videos on here that we're just about to. I don't want to give away all of their show. Creeping in on people.
Damn, I just got a little caught up. My fucking Instagram just got hacked. And all of my verifications to send it to are to numbers that are not mine. And there's no option for getting out of it.
Oh no.
Those fuckers.
Oh no, I've been seeing a lot of people get hacked lately. I'm not opening anything that's sketchy whatsoever.
I don't open shit.
I had a friend who actually got they got hacked through their hotspot. They were doing something with their laptop and they forgot to turn their hotspot off, but somebody was actually able to sync up with their phone through their hotspot. Dude, they got their credit card information, they got their Apple wallet, all of it.
Damn.
Yeah, it was rough. He was in tears, just this is bullshit. Locked him out of his phone, couldn't get photos out of there, couldn't get his contact information out of there, all of his social media, all of his financial stuff on his phone.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a total hack. They didn't leave anything for him.
Oh, look at these guys waving at me. Some people get so into it when somebody walks around with a camera. Other people totally turn their heads.
Oh,
I always think it's so funny to see how different people react.
I used to get into cameras walking around shows, and then I hit puberty and I realized it wasn't a good thing. Oh,
Cameras.
Yeah, cameras.
The show is so big. I don't even know if I made it up and down every aisle with the camera. I try to get at least one pass by all the booths, but I don't think I did. I think I only got sections. Back at home base. This time it's not Bobby talking to Derb. Oh, what up? Devin's here.
Hello. Yo. What up? What's everybody doing?
We're good. We're going through some convention videos from last weekend.
I heard the
convention? Wait, the one up in Cleveland, was it Cleveland?
The Cleveland one was fantastic. The Cleveland show went great.
I heard the other one was.
The other one was like, we had a whole episode last week on like all that could go wrong and did go wrong.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to this.
Oh, this is Don. I'm trying to get in touch with the guy that just walked past the screen there a second ago. Hopefully he'll be our guest in the next couple of weeks. But he's got a pretty cool journey that he's on with his tattoos. I overheard him telling Derb about it, so I reached out. Hopefully he'll be able to, like I said, join us soon. She just did a gruesome performance. Here we go. Here's the suspension. Do you get into these, watching these suspensions, Siobhan?
You know what? Sometimes they're hit and miss for me.
These two girls were both awesome.
I'm really cool with, like, I like the back stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool with the back, but the front I get uncomfortable with. You know what I mean? Like the chest and like the thigh area. I'm kind of like, eh.
She suspends from her knees.
Nope. Good on that one.
That's where my buddy Michael suspends from.
I think this was the first time it wasn't the first time she's suspended, obviously, but the first time she's suspended from her knees.
Yeah. Oh, I can't.
This is one of those things back to, you know how earlier you were talking about like filtering things, usually like through the lens, through the screen, through the little digital screen.
Real.
Yeah. So when I watch this stuff in person, I get so like hyper focused on like where the actual like punctures are, watching like how the body's reacting. Like the whole time I watch stuff like this, I'm in like hyper attentive mode, waiting to like spring into action and save the day, just because I can't help but do that when like adrenaline is flying.
You know, that's what
but-
save up.
But I always get woozy. Like I watch so intently that it's like, whoa, I got to step away. I'm getting a headache. I'm getting lightheaded. I'm getting a little woozy. But as I was watching through the camera, I did not get woozy, even when I did zoom in super duper close.
Back to that tech thing we talked about earlier.
Yep. That's exactly the
Screen makes
point
it
I was
not
getting
real.
back.
Right.
Do
This
you
is
guys
so
remember the shock band called Only Flesh?
No.
So
No.
there used to be a fairly prevalent, I don't even want to try to define the style of metal that they were. Shock rock, definitely. But they were, the gentleman would come out pierced on a cross. He had a microphone that was attached to his head, chest with hooks that like fell out and was suspended in front of him by these hooks. And it was half suspension show, half rock show, combo, shock act. That it was a lot. It was a lot to take in at once.
Weren't they in that that one movie? What is that one movie?
Yeah, it narrows it down.
Transland, or that D. Snyder movie where they did a lot of suspension stuff in that movie. And was that what it was called?
I am probably the last person you want to play the what is this game or what is this movie game with.
Oh man, it's
I'm horrible.
a really good movie, but basically they go through the whole like the suspension of like the body can take whatever it can take kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like the body's designed to take a massive amount of strength. It's you that can't take the strain, right?
Yeah. Like right now, I'm the one that cannot take the strain.
Oh,
I can't even look at it.
Now I get it. It's to each their own, but for me, this is not my gig. Like I'm not mad at you. I know a lot of people that have done this and do this. It's their thing. It transcends the pain to a different place that I don't want to go, but that is their gig, and I'm happy you found something that makes you happy. But sorry.
I mean,
Not-
I feel like
not
it's
for
got to
me.
be like the same kind of freeing as free falling. It's that like letting go of control, and whatever happens in this moment happens in this moment. Like,
No.
you know, like, but I have no desire to, first of all, I wouldn't wreck any of my tatties. Second of all, I have no desire to hang from my flesh.
Well, it's also an
But it's cool
incredible
to
dopamine
watch.
jump. It's an endorphin jump. It's a dopamine dump, because you're allowing your body to go through pain, and when you're taking it to that point to where your body is trying to naturally divert yourself from that pain, you're getting high on the of the natural medicine of your body.
Yeah, I've
So that
definitely like
that rush is
achieved that level
irreplaceable.
with tattoos and some of the
Right.
pain I've experienced. Now, granted, that's not the same. It's like flying through the air while you're tolerating that pain. But I don't know. I just feel like this. I'm good. I'll watch somebody else.
I'm happy you're happy.
I will
Please don't
encourage
take it as
you.
anything other than I'm happy that you're happy, but no thanks. No.
You know, my thing is, I don't know if it comes back to stage fright or something else, but it'd be one thing to go through that kind of pain for like my own personal journey or for my own personal enjoyment, right? Whatever that enjoyment may lead to. What would bother me is being a spectacle. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you're going to go on that kind of journey or that kind of adventure with your dopamine in your body, it shouldn't be in a way where you're gratifying someone else's fetish. Does that make
Yeah, I totally hear you there.
Yeah, but
I
it's
feel
a
like,
different adventure for everybody.
yeah, if
Right.
I were to do something like this, I would be private about it. It would
Yes.
probably be like me and like my closest homies. If me, you, and Derb were sitting around and Derb was like, "You want to get suspended, Fawn?" I'm probably would be like, "Who's gonna be there? From what?"
I don't know. It's one of those things that I'm not interested in that style of dopamine rush. I do enough stupid shit to keep my blood pumping.
Oh, I'm totally with you. I agree.
yeah,
I'm just
I
saying,
don't
like,
need that level of.
if I were to consider it, it would be like if we were doing it in our warehouse with only our homies. Like, what if I had the endorphin dump and I passed out and you had to save me? I don't need embarrassment on top of that.
Right.
Dude, mine wouldn't even be like the embarrassment. Mine would be the because
Derb's already seen me puke. We've already crossed that bridge. Siobhan's already seen me puke. We've crossed that bridge. I guess
puked on Derb.
I have fit her partial out of a toilet. All right, but
fair. You are also the one that got me that wasted. So that's what you get.
Hennessy, don't put that on me. You keep that shit to yourself, Ricky Bobby.
Okay, I'm sorry, but can we skip through this a little bit?
Yeah. We'll go to the
I
next
love
one.
it. I'm happy she's happy.
I'm
But
happy she's
my
happy.
knees are
Yeah.
Here we go.
She went right into here's the next.
Right.
And like, I don't have the sound on this, but she's totally suspending to Deftones.
Nice.
I want you We could do that a little bit whinier. We could make that whinier.
That's why I never bought that CD.
Love that CD. You
I-
can come listen to me karaoke that whole album right now.
Whole album.
You know what? Well, everybody I know was super into Deftones. I was super into like Power Man 5000.
Yeah, Bubby. I love that early techno-ish blend in.
So this girl that he's flinging around like a rag doll, she does this for a living. Bye, Devin. It was good to see you.
Peace, man.
Our collector friend, Devin. But she is one of the girls that suspends at the Jane's Addiction shows. So like when you see any videos of them, she's one of the girls. This girl suspending, she suspends for Jane's Addiction.
That's the thing.
I believe so. I believe so.
They all died.
I believe Jennifer
That's
is
a
how
Jane's
he
Addiction
introduced her.
reference for all you that don't know.
Would you say you've been caught stealing?
I've been sitting in my shower spinning.
Guys are-
My favorite Jane's Addiction song is "Sitting in the Shower Thinking." So
Hmm.
sitting in the shower spinning was the joke.
You know who I miss? Well, I take this back. You know who I miss respecting as a human being?
Oh, geez.
Lots of people.
Dave Navarro. I'm gonna say he hasn't really done anything to promote respect here in the last like 6 years. Just not a big fan.
She suspends for like 15 minutes, so we could like watch her all day if you want.
I would prefer not to.
Do you want to change the switcher over there?
Switch it to what?
Either angle. Which angle do you want to put us on?
Oh, you wanted to see us?
You can see us.
Hello.
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 And there we are. This is what I've been playing with the whole time. It's a rock.
It's a
Okay.
rock.
I dropped it on the ground.
Is it like paper, scissors?
Adam gave it to me earlier today. They're only found, I want to say they're only found in Egypt.
Sure. You got an Egypt rock.
Yeah, it's a
Is that
cool
from
Egypt
where
rock.
the lightning has struck the sand?
I don't know. I'm going to have to do a little bit of homework to find out how this mineral structure becomes to exist.
Hmm.
So I had a complete nervous breakdown this afternoon. I'm working at my desk, right? And I'm on the phone call with a woman talking about getting her like a new worker or whatever. And I noticed there's like it's like a large fruit fly land on my hand, and I'm like, ew. So I kill it, and I go back to typing, and I look down. There's like 3 of them on my notepad. I'm like, what the hell? So I kill them, and I'm like, God damn! And I turn around, and my whole window is covered in them, right? And I'm like, oh my God! Like, am I high? Like, dude, I had to pinch myself for a minute.
They're just little fruit flies?
Yeah, like it's like, dude, there's literally like 100 of them on my window, right? And I'm like freaking out. So I stand up from my computer, right? My desk is in the corner of the living room, right? And I turn around and my entire fireplace is covered in them. Like you can't see the white from them, right? And I literally had to take a step out my front door and come back in my house because I really thought I was hallucinating, right?
That's
like
the worst when you're like, am I tripping?
Did I do something wrong?
Touch the fuzzy wall. Touch the fuzzy wall.
Dude, it's not funny. Like, I like on my lunch break, I had to go through with fly killer and spray my fireplace down, and like my entire fireplace is still covered in them.
What are they?
I don't know. I have no idea. I had to call an exterminator. They'll be here in the morning.
That's weird.
It's
Well,
super weird.
At least they're coming that early to take care of it, though.
Oh my God, it's costing me a fortune.
Maybe they'll get there and it's just going to be something that'll pass because you got that little creek behind your house, right?
Dude, it's just my fireplace though. So I feel like they came out of my fireplace, which makes me think there's a problem with my fireplace. Right? Like maybe there's something dead in there and it got really
Might be
hot.
something in your flu.
Right. You know what I mean? Like it was 89 degrees yesterday and super humid. Like, did I kick up like a re-rotting process on something? You know what I mean? Like, I'm really nervous what they might find in my chimney.
It's probably just a raccoon or a little baby birdie nest or something along them lines. And no big deal. Just rotten flesh.
Oh my God. Can you guys see me? Can you guys see me?
I can see you. You're not on the big screen, but we can see you.
Look.
What?
They are everywhere.
Okay. Ew.
Oh.
Oh, now the world can see you. You on the big screen now.
What those are? Let me know. I'm taking opinions and or advice on this one.
Florida. That's
Florida.
all that is. That's just Florida.
Don't even joke.
Oh man, what a day. We had an incredible, like it's been silly, but it's been serious all at the same time today.
We've had a really interesting run of mental health episodes lately that are strongly encouraging people
That's like
to.
a springtime theme.
Is it? Get your head right.
But yeah, I think so. You know, we're all coming out of winter depression. And honestly,
How'd you get Jordan's
I
mic?
feel like I get into, yeah, that was really replaced, but I never went and grabbed it. It was
I
normal, too.
didn't know. I'm sorry.
I think you guys
know.
traded headphones.
I think anytime I
By
get into
accident.
starting to get into a real conversation with people lately, it's always gets into mental health. It's always a relevant thing lately.
It's fair. It's fair. I mean, it's a big part of like,
At
you
least
know,
lately. What?
We traded.
We flippy floppied?
yeah, it's a big part of like, you know, at the end of the day, what connects a lot of people that are heavily tattooed and are heavily modified. Like we're all chasing
Trauma?
it for different
Oh.
reasons. And like those of us that aren't like, you know, dealing with trauma, we're inflicting trauma on ourselves. You know what I mean? So there's all that like there is all that psychological stuff with tattooing. It is where a lot of it comes out for a lot of people. There are people that don't talk to anybody except their tattooer on
Absolutely.
a personal level. Like there are some people that are more comfortable talking to me than they are talking to their spouses, which
Absolutely.
is crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not crazy, but like,
It happens
you
to
know,
be true right here.
fair. That's fair. But it's just crazy how important all of that like psychological and emotional stuff is when it comes to the tattoo experience. It's a big part of it. I didn't realize that when I started getting into tattooing.
That you had to
And-
also be a therapist.
Yeah, I didn't, I mean, fortunately, psychology does fascinate me, so it's not bad, but
I was blanking too.
Well, it's one of those things that you don't realize that you're breaking down people's vulnerability walls because you're putting them in an insecure position. So you're already lowering their walls a little bit and giving them that space to be vulnerable because they're
Mhm.
already in pain. They're already thinking that, and a lot of times people have sense memory. Pain, physical pain reminds them of emotional pain or even physical pain from their past. And it just, man, I can't remember the last time I felt this way. I can't remember the last time I pushed through something. I can't remember.
Mhm.
And it brings up a lot of
Right. The more
Repressed.
you're able to talk to people,
I
and be
think
real with people, and like be, I don't know, sit and be open with people, the more it's going to benefit,
Mhm.
them
Yeah.
and their experience.
Yeah.
The more you can just be real and talk when people are open, and if you can be sensitive to that, because it does all those things.
Yeah, I think even like the
You can be cut
touch
off,
as a
but-
tattooer, there's such an energy
Mhm.
exchange and just having our hands on another person.
Mhm.
They feel us, we feel them. That's very intimate. Some people don't touch another person like that
all day.
ever.
No, think about if you work in a regular conventional office where you're not like besties with the people that are around you. You live by yourself. You get up in the morning, you make your coffee, you go to your office, you're around people, but you're not engaged. You're not
You're
hanging out.
high-fiving.
If
You might
that,
shake a
what
hand.
if
You
you even
might
do that?
one shoulder hug.
So, I mean, a lot of people don't even do that. They walk
Yeah.
straight to the cubicle and it's not acceptable to be touching other
Oh,
people.
no, I mean, if you have like close homies at work, like you
Even
might
that.
quick high five, hug, handshake on with the day, but like to actually have that like energy exchange of,
Flesh to
we're
flesh.
feeling each other breathe together.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like it's incredibly intimate without being intimate.
Well, it's even being in close contact. You know why eating next to somebody is so intimate? It's because you're sharing an experience, you're in close quarters, and you're doing something that makes everybody a little bit awkward.
Mhm.
Everybody is worried about spilling food. Everybody's worried about being a mess. Everybody's worried about feeling like a glutton or feeling
Mhm.
a certain type of way about because I'm eating a greasy cheeseburger or whatever it is. There's a lot of vulnerability involved in that. A lot of people don't realize that. So it's the same in a tattooing situation. That's what bonds through that. It is that growth through struggle. I don't know.
I don't know. It's pretty cool. A lot of those are just unexpected things that I stumbled into through tattooing. There's just a lot that I couldn't have like a lot of, as a collector, I'm speaking now as a collector, there are just a lot of milestones I don't think I would have achieved at this point, like on an emotional level, on a soul maturity level,
Mhm.
if it wasn't for some of the places that my tattoo collection has pushed me.
I couldn't
Right.
imagine even just where I would be as a social human being if it wasn't for the relationships built through the circle. My entire social are they a tattoo homie? Or are they, one of the few other fringe things that I do? And it's like,
It's like, I feel like there's the tattoo family and then there's like the jujitsu family.
and they're pretty much just the same people.
They're becoming the same.
They
Like, I
were
almost
always
feel like
pretty
I'm-
much the same people.
I almost feel like I'm a like by proxy member of the jujitsu family, and just because I have put so many of you into pain, and you
Yeah.
just submit to me
Just
like
get-
with a smile, like
give
you
it
all
to me,
do,
baby.
and like
Give it to my baby.
yeah, like there's that. But like
just-
I
it's-
don't
it's-
I
it's
don't
weird how
roll,
that-
but like
that
I'm so
bonds.
connected to so many of you.
I think the funniest thing is, and three-fourths of the day through, when the client's going through so much pain and they know how much they like dislike it, or like they want to be upset with you, Like they want to be like, this hurts so bad that my instincts tell me to be upset with the situation and with with like this
Right.
hurting me, but I know there's no reason for me to be upset. So they're not at all. But like it's almost like comical and like so you can see them almost laughing about it, but at the same time, me, I'm like, yeah.
Oh, no,
I'm vocal.
it's
I
not
think
even
I
an
just think
almost
it's
laugh.
funny,
There is a distinctive wall that I hit with some of my clients, and they literally just start giggling every time I touch them.
It's like,
And
I hate you.
sometimes I can catch it. I can catch the moment that it starts, and I'll be like, "You just did it," and they'll be like, "What?" I'll be like, "You just pictured doing something really mean to me, didn't you?"
It's where you see the look when they like look at their like.
It's like I can tell when like there's just like a distinctive giggle when it's like, "You just pictured pushing me down the stairs, didn't you?"
I don't
I
know.
deserve it.
I've reached the point where,
And then you show them your
majority of the time, I
tattoos
don't
and you're
enjoy
like,
it.
yeah, no.
Yep.
Trust
You're
me, I
right.
get it.
Mhm.
We get it.
Yep, but it's a distinctive like
Yeah. All right.
But that's
well,
always-
I guess more white is what we're doing.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I love the most about it is it gives me so much freedom to be like, see, now you're upset with me, so now I feel way less worse about it. Like, bad about that. So it makes it even more fun. Easier
No.
for me.
I like calling them out on it. And they'll be like, no, I would never. It's
I
like,
am
oh no, I know
fine.
you wouldn't, but you just imagined it.
Want to. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I have a pretty weird, unique bond with my tattoo artist, so it puts me in a little different realm. Because I have actually hurt Fawn.
She has.
A couple times. I'm not laughing at it because I do feel bad about it now that I'm older, but the fact that we're still friends it's pretty incredible. I've done some pretty heinous shit over the years. Like a super pinky and a tube sock. That was one of them. It's like a lock sock, but we called it the cock sock.
Oh, this was horrible. Before my leg tattoo, I still had a mark on my leg from it.
Like my own parents looked at me and were like, "Why does she speak to you?"
They
I
still
don't know. Right. I don't know. It was pretty bad actually. So I mean, I've had some pretty gruesome tattoos, but I've never really ever got to that point with Fawn. Because I've been there in real life. I know the guilt that's associated with that my hands on her. So
Right.
right. To be
Well-
fair, I was under 16. It never happened as an adult. It never happened as an adult.
Sometimes you don't realize how much something's going to inflict pain until you do it. Oh, I didn't think it was going to hurt that bad. I didn't mean to snap your leg off. I'm sorry. Oops. I don't understand force yet.
So
I'll let
Siobhan and I have known each other long enough that her mom, Rita, who we mentioned earlier today, she's like, I could always tell how mad you were at Siobhan by how long the gap was in between the syllables of her name. Like sometimes
Siobhan.
I'd be like, Siobhan.
That's funny.
She knew how mad by how long the gap was.
That's funny.
You know what's not funny is my high school reunion, because I went to alternative ed. My high school reunion, we actually talked about Fawn more than what we did each other, because they're like, how is Fawn? Well, she's great. They're like, does she still talk to you? It's like, yeah. Really?
Really?
Really? After all that fucked up shit you did to her senior year. Whoa. Those were accidents. None of that. Those are all accidents.
Bob would
None-
call them happy little accidents.
Those were all accidents.
We'll
Oh
just-
man.
We'll just make that a happy little tree.
We should chronolize our our senior year of high school. Turn it into a comic book.
You know, the part is you have clients and you have fans. Let's call them fans. If they knew half of the shit, they would burn my house down.
They probably would.
And,
They probably would. Just they would be like karma swinging around. I'd be like, no, guys, don't. It's okay. It's all right.
It's
It's
all right.
even. Okay.
I apologize 20 years ago. Honestly. Like the first time Fawn's first serious like partner, she introduced us and she's like, yeah, I'm Fawn's partner. And I was just like, yeah, I made Fawn gay. Have fun with that.
And the way that happened was the vulgar
I just-
stories.
I
It
just
was
like
like
the way
so,
you said that. Like, yeah.
yeah, it was not
Hate that
the way you
shit.
would imagine.
Right.
Like
Go ahead.
she disgusted me gay.
That's-
True. I almost disgusted myself gay. But again, I was chubby and had really low self-esteem, so I kind of kept at it.
That is such a horrible way
Cut
put
to
it, but it's
we run
fucking
into our high
hilarious.
school teacher years later. We're like at Meyer. I'm living down here. I'm visiting. Maybe Siobhan was living down here. We were visiting, whatever. She had Olivia in the shopping cart. We run into our art teacher who like we came up from 7th grade all the way through our senior year. Like there was like
We
one
were-
gap without this lady. But anyways, she made some reference to like,
right? Like
is she yours together? And we like look at each other.
and she continued.
No.
Well, it's nice to see you guys are finally making a go of it.
And we're still just like,
Whoa. No.
What?
so confusing.
Assume much.
But to be fair, it's like there's something in the water in Ionia. Everybody at least goes through a phase. At least. Everybody. Everybody. It's, I don't know. There's something in the water.
Are you sure it's not just everybody?
And it could be
No.
everybody. I don't know.
I never went through that phase. Like
Yeah,
never.
I never went through that phase.
Right. Just like I never went through that awkward phase of, sure, go ahead and tickle it. Let's see what happens. Like, no, please don't.
Oh, geez. All right. Before we derail any further, it's almost 9 o'clock already.
Bum,
Is it-
bum, ba. You know what my stomach was telling me about 3 hours ago. It was 9
It
o'clock.
was time for blunts and burgers.
Yes, let's smoke some blunt. Let's smoke a blunt.
Look, you know, super hilarious is my kid
Cheesy burgies.
hung a sign up and we're like, where's dinner? So I've been cooking dinner for like the last half hour.
Oh, we've been watching. You've been on the screen this entire time. The podcast is you.
Nice.
I've been waiting to see it. Imagine that potatoes and sausage. Imagine that.
Yeah.
It's almost like we knew what you were gonna make before you started making dinner.
You know what? Because I told you I was Dutch.
Yeah.
I told you I was Dutch. I told you I was fat. I told you I was albino white. Like there's
And
really
that's how I knew I wanted you to make me dinner.
no. Oh man, that's literally 90% of my relationships. I'm kind of mean and borderline domestic, but I will cook for you, and
I will feed your ass.
I will feed your ass, and I will do adult. Never mind, my kids are in the living room.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up. And I feel like I'm super loud now.
You are.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up. And I would love to have you on again. I feel like this has been a lot of fun.
Well, good. I was kind of nervous. Like I said, I just didn't want to be billed as like the fawn fan, but you know,
No.
Nope, not
Just
at all.
one of the homies.
Yep. Just one of the homies.
It's
I
it's
get-
This
nice
is a great
to
podcast.
yeah. This is what,
right. Right. I mean, me and Fawn have definitely talked several times over the years about you know, this or that or whatever. But I always enjoy being in the smoke circle, guys. Always do.
That's
Oh.
essentially what this podcast is. It is a loose topic with a smoke circle that allows the creativity of words to flow.
Mhm. Yep. It's getting,
Sounds
yep.
That's literally how it started. Hey guys, we should smoke weed and record things. We'd be good
Our
at it.
conversations are really good. We should
People would like
get
this.
high and talk about all sorts of crazy shit. We start
Dude,
getting
she-
intentional and bam, podcast.
cool.
What's that?
Say that again.
That you Spawn literally pitched this to me in high school. She was like, "You're hilarious. Like people would pay to just sit in the car with us while you smoke weed." And I was like,
Yep.
"No, they won't, Fawn." And I stopped smoking weed, and Fawn started smoking weed, and she was like, "Bro, people would pay to listen to this dumb shit right now."
There's a
Except
lot of
we do it for
accidental
free.
knowledge.
Right? I don't think so. And then
Every
she
now
called
and
and
then
was
they slip into something cool.
like, "Right, I started a podcast, and it's hilarious." I was like, "All right." Oh,
It is a good time.
right.
All right,
Yeah.
guys. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up. We will be here next week. Hopefully I'll be sharing a confirmation of our guest within the next couple of days.
Suspense.
Yep. But I'm trying to get a collector named Don Caskey on. Like I said, he has a really cool story that I really hope that I'm able to share as soon as possible. So I don't want to like break into it, but hopefully we'll be able to have him join us next week. Other than that, it'll be the usual Misfits Bandits. Maybe we can get Joe to join us soon.
Woo, woo. Yeah, I think he said he'd be free next week.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. I need to hit him up.
Senor Benitez.
Well, Siobhan, thank you for taking the time to join us.
Good to see you,
No
Siobhan.
problem. Any hate mail or just sideline comments can be directed to fawnbaker@gmail.com.
That's not my email, but okay.
We are not supposed to say that, Fawn.
Now they're gonna look it up.
Somebody's gonna get them.
Right. But no, guys, I had fun. Thanks a lot. I did appreciate it.
Definitely a blast.
All right, appreciate you. Talk to you soon.
See you,
Everybody
homies.
else, we'll see you
Later.
next week.
Bye.
Bye.